Hello and welcome to the Firebreathing Kittens, a standalone Dungeons & Dragons 5e podcast. Every episode is a standalone one-shot adventure, so you can be picky about which ones you want to listen to. We here hope that this episode piques your interest and that you want to listen to us. I'm your DM for today. Typically, I play Rooney Evanara, but today I am God. So
it's quite an upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it feels pretty great. You guys should try it sometime. But speaking of, let's introduce who's joining us in our party today. First off is Skirmish.
Thank you, your deity. My name is Skirmish Killington. I am a level 18 Goliath barbarian, Path of the Wild magic. Let's see, I've got light blue-ish grey skin. I just got a haircut, so I have a salt and pepper hair. It was getting a little long. They tried to even it up, and it wasn't quite even because I went to a discount barber. And so now it's shortened, like almost shaved completely because they didn't quite get it right. Anyway, I don't wear any shirts, just a pair of trousers, and I'm about 7'7", rather beefy, as I've been described, and I got like tattoos all over my body. They're natural. It's not like I went to a place and paid for them, but just so you know what I look like.
Great, thank you, Skirmish. We also have joining us Grizzlt.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Grizzlt. I'm a goblin monk, standing about 3'1". If I've stretched, then I can hit 3'3". My old back doesn't do me the best nowadays, but practicing arts of the astral form has really helped me out. I can say that. It's good for the muscles. I am very plainly adorned. I don't really need that much. I have a simple white tunic, some brown canvas pants, because traveling in the desert, you need to stay cool. But I do very much love my robe. It's gold, very intricate pattern, and has a blue lining all across the trim, I guess you would say. And my red eyes always seem to be looking for something else. I like to wander, so please don't mind me.
All right. And last but not least, we have Jade.
Hello, I am Jade. I am a 53-year-old paladin of Guasso. I am wearing a gambeson and a plate mail, and I have a sword. Sometimes my sword is not very nice, but that's okay. It does not break any laws, so therefore he has good alliance. This is how it works.
Love that.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. All right, let's get started. So, you three all start the day in the Firebreathing Kittens Guild Hall. It's empty except for the bartender Nusi and a couple of bright flyers on the wall. What are you all doing right now?
What time of day would you say it is?
Probably early morning, maybe like 7 or 8 in the morning.
Okay, then I'm having my early morning ale. I don't know what to get my afternoon ale confused. I have a pattern. You got to keep consistent, you know what I mean?
Pardon. Grizzlt will be wandering around. He tends to like tea in the morning, so he's probably got a very small mug of tea. His cloak robe seems to always kind of be billowing as if the wind is catching it, but he's standing at the bar, even though he has to look up to really see the top of it. But he's enjoying a nice warm tea.
Jade's not there yet because the bank and the post office don't open until 9, so she's on her way to those.
So I would like everyone to be together in the guild hall.
Okay.
So I didn't.
It's like 9:30.
No, I didn't.
And
okay.
Okay. So she just got back from the post office where she sent a care package to Sasha, and the bank where she signed some deed information to buy land for Adele as her graduation present with Simmons the Kind.
Well,
he did not like waking up this early. He was fine. He's just been grumpy ever since his boyfriend became a god. He doesn't sleep as good. Yeah.
While we were waiting for Jade, I was getting to know Grizzlt a lot better, and he was introducing me to a lot of different teas. and not something I'm used to, but it is delightful.
They are very nice. I know you enjoy your ale, but the tea really opens up the mind and the body, and
The
also
sinuses, too.
The sinuses are great. Let me tell you, with as much sand as I've had in my nose, you definitely want to open up those sinuses.
Wouldn't that just let more sand in?
Well, that's why you just have to keep drinking the tea. It gets clogged, you open it wider, and you wouldn't believe the size that my sinuses have gotten to at some point.
That is a vicious cycle.
It's quite a cycle.
Hello. Good morning. Grizzlt, Skirmish.
Hey, Jade!
Yeah, hello, good morning. How are you?
I am well, and you look, is your nose larger today?
No, just a little bit, but I'm worried. There's a lot less sand here, so they're shrinking back down.
All right. As you three are chatting in this early morning, the door opens and in walks potentially a familiar figure to Skirmish and Jade. It's Stella's brother, Sterling. He is a rather tall, half elf, half dragon, with very pale skin and a very stylish haircut. He also seems to be wearing a uniform of some sort, rather plain. But he walks in and sees you three are the only ones in the guild hall. And he says, well, hey, everyone. Do you know if Stella's around?
I'm not too familiar with Stella, but I don't think I've seen her today.
I'm a bit more familiar with Stella. She's, not to brag, she's a good friend of mine. But I know she doesn't wake up this early. You may want to try again in about an hour.
That's true.
What?
Well, maybe you three can help me instead. I don't know if you guys have seen the flyers around town, but the Nick and Moy Museum is holding an exhibition partnered with Consent Creameries. And their team just came back with some interesting artifacts. I think you guys might want to take a look at it.
What kind of artifacts are you talking about?
Oh, like really ancient ones. They're pretty cool, honestly. They've been doing some digging around draws, and they've found some, well, they think they're ritualistic items from thousands of years ago. But the weird thing is, they've got the Firebreathing Kittens logo on them. You guys don't happen to be a 1,000-year-old organization, do you?
I just joined this year, so I don't know.
I think I'm in the same boat. I don't know.
I'm not that old, eh?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to imply that.
She's very sensitive about her age, even though she's a very capable warrior.
Teenagers, when you have some, you're like, maybe you'll go to college now, yeah?
It's very true. Young people these days.
What's wrong with young people? I'm only 23.
Sterling kind of like raises himself up a little bit. It's like, yeah, what's wrong with young people? We're capable. Don't you watch my streams?
More than capable, but with life comes experience. I mean, I'm an old goblin at 48, so just don't mind me.
So I don't know why there would be a logo on such an old artifact. Are you sure that they are actually old? Perhaps their measurement process isn't exactly very accurate. Maybe it's only like 5 years old. I guess, well, you might not know that, but we should go to the museum and ask them that.
Yeah, these artifacts are going to be shown pretty soon for the exhibit, but given how strangely they're marked, I wanted to come to you all and see if there was anything going on.
Did you pay the people that you took the artifacts from their land, or did you just steal them like cunning thieves?
I am not part of Consent Creamery's archaeology team. That's a question you're going to have to raise with them. But given the name, it's probably Consent.
That's a good point, but I would say archaeology is not of law-breaking. It's just done internationally and there's no punishment. I will fix that.
Didn't they pass a law recently saying that archaeology is legal all across the land, at least in Guazhou?
Hey, DM, tell me what the laws are.
So I will say the laws generally are nothing goes in and out of Nikamoy when it comes to artifacts without strict papers and such, showing that they were acquired legally or with permission. And so you, as a retired town guard, would know that they're very strict in customs about that sort of thing.
Ooh.
Oh, great.
Noted.
So, legal as far as the Nicomoy town guard are concerned. Papers can always be fabricated, but who would ever fabricate papers? Who would do that?
What?
No.
As a matter of fact, my good friend Jade has a magical paper. Oh, I'm sorry, what? Oh, yes, I will take another beer. Thanks.
Uh-huh. This is interesting. But I do think, it'd be very interesting to see some of these artifacts. And I think if there's a Fire-Breathing Kittens logo on them, then you all would find it interesting to see where they may have come from. So maybe we do go to the museum. I've never been there.
Well, it could be that Nulasag ripped off the logo, you can just find an old picture in a book and just say, hey, that looks pretty cool. And then I'm going to make an organization around that. So, maybe that's what he did. And we actually have something much more mystical tattooed to our bodies.
Oh, that would be very dangerous. Oh, what if it belonged to an old, evil, dead god?
Well,
Canon.
what you going to do about it?
Yeah, I guess. Let's... Which did come first? The logo or the pot?
So, Sterling, when does this exhibition open? I would be curious to find out more about it.
Well, it's set to open a couple days from now. These were the last items that were shipped to us. Given, again, how strangely they're marked, they're wanting us to see if we can either figure out if they've been messed with or if this really is how they have been marked for thousands of years. So, I figured I'd come to you all as soon as I could. But if you guys are able to help me out, I can snatch you some free tickets to the exhibit. It's supposed to be about the history of draws.
Sure, I can dig it. Get it? It's an archaeological pun.
Oh,
Okay.
that was very clever.
Never heard that one before. First time.
The first time.
You
Great.
too? Yeah, it is actually the first time I've ever heard that. That's fantastic.
Wow, you're really old.
And?
Nothing. Here, I can lead you to my offices at the museum if you want to follow me.
Sure.
I think without that I wouldn't get there. So yes, lead the way.
Okay. So, Sterling leads you all to the Nicomoy Museum of Natural History. And it is still closed. It's a bit early in the day. They haven't opened up to the public yet. He leads you through a side door and through some plain and dimly lit hallways. This seems to be the employee-only area of the museum. It's kept very clean. And the hallways are just big enough to wheel in some of, the larger artifacts, like facades of buildings like that. It's a couple of minutes before he brings you to a small room. It's about 30 by 30, and there's a massive wooden table in the middle of it. All across it are strewn papers and tools. You can see brushes, presumably for dusting off artifacts. There are also little chisels and stuff like that, and a couple of stools scattered about the room. Right near the edge of the table, though, are two wooden boxes. They look to be the size of jewelry boxes, and the lids are completely clear on top. And so as Sterling ushers you all in, he points to these boxes, and he says, I will warn you, they've got a bit of strong conjuration magic on them, so I wouldn't really touch them yet. I've touched them and dealt with them, and it hasn't affected me, but better safe than sorry. So maybe take a look at them first, and if nothing bad happens, then I can take them out and have you guys investigate them.
You probably do not want me to end all the magic on the items, right?
No. The magical properties are part of the value of these artifacts. The fact that they have conjuration magic on them is telling in and of itself that there was this kind of magic available to denizens thousands of years ago. It's really quite intriguing. If you watched my streams, you'd learn more about it.
He wants one more listener or viewer.
He needs to get that count up. He's losing to his rival by like a couple 100,000 subscribers. He's got to get that number up.
Oh man, it's so realistic. Jade will stand beside Skirmish and Grizzlt with Cleansing Touch prepared. If you make weird or agonized screams, I will end one spell on a willing creature I touch, and I can use this my charisma modifier per long rest. So I'm not messing with the artifacts magic, but I will stop it from like shriveling, blighting my friends.
Okay, sounds good.
So, as soon as Grizzle gets into this room, and seeing this large table with all the little knickknacks everywhere, I know Sterling is talking, of course, but Grizzle is going to immediately start walking around this table and fiddling and wandering and really just looking through a lot of things. He absolutely heard you say, don't touch anything, but that was probably a little bit too late. So just meandering as he likes to do.
Okay. Is he trying to pick up anything from the table or on the ground or something?
Yes. As a matter of fact, if he does see something that's going to interest him, he is absolutely going to go ahead and pick it up and take a look at it.
There's a particularly interesting tool that looks like half a chisel and half a brush. You've never quite seen that before. You can roll sleight of hand to see if you can pick it up without being noticed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? If it's definitely something like that, he would 100%. So, that's a 10.
As you go to reach down and pick up this interesting tool, Sterling turns and says, if you could just leave that where you found that, that'd be great. Those tend to be rather hard to come by. Kind of expensive.
I'm sorry. I'll put it back. He'll just set it back on the table and then immediately go look for something else to pick up.
All right. Well, Grizzle's doing that. Jade is preparing. Jade or Skirmish, is there anything you guys want to do?
Well, I'm standing in a corner, very tense, because I used to live before I joined the Firebreathing Kittens. I used to live on the outskirts of Jishop, and I did visit the museum there once. However, I now have a lifetime ban from that museum because I tend to break things. And so, since Sterling is Stella's brother, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. So I'm just standing away from the knickknacks. I don't want to touch anything, and I don't want to break anything. So I'm just kind of letting the others lead.
I guess okay. Grizzlt is going to be the one to encounter it. I'm like following Grizzlt around with my hands glowing for no reason.
Do some of these things look interesting to you, too?
Oh, yes, the box with the clear lid. You should see what that is, I say, my hands glowing.
I would love to. Let's take a look. If there is a box with a clear lid, Grizzle will take it and pick it up and peer into it.
Okay, there are actually 2 boxes with clear. They are, you can probably pick one up at a time given your size. The first one, you see a necklace. The cord seems to be rather frayed and suntanned. Very, very old. And strung across it, separated by small glass beads, are rather large talons that seem to pendants on this neck. The middle talon is the largest. It's about the size of Jade's hand, so it's rather big. And inscribed on the center of that talon, very clearly marked, but still weathered by age, is the Firebreathing Kittens logo.
Grizzle, holding up the box, will show it to Jade and says, well, will you look at that? It looks like it has the Firebreathing Kittens logo on it, and that's a very interesting necklace. It's very pretty. What do you think?
I'm waiting for him to die or something. Like I'm doing a health check.
You can roll a medicine check real quick if you'd like, Jade.
Oh, God.
All right. Oh, a natural 20. I'm glad I used it 20. On this.
So, despite Sterling telling you guys not to touch anything, Jade, you were prepared to do something. Grizzlt seems to be in perfect health, though. Doesn't appear like anything adverse is happening. He's just holding a box.
Okay. Well, then I don't comment on any health things. And I say, Yes, maybe this claw, it was a member, like I have this tattoo on the back of my left hand. Maybe this claw was where their tattoo was. They were a member. And then they got time traveled back in time and then they died and someone, made them into a necklace. That's very sad.
That's one heck of a theory.
I think that's quite a conversation piece. I wouldn't mind having my hand as part of a necklace if that would, it's a good story. I mean, I don't want to lose my hand. That's my smashing hand. But however, if I'm dead, I'm not going to be using it anymore. Somebody else can use it as a decoration. I don't mind.
Oh, it's good for us to discuss these things. You're all the youngest among us, but Grizzlt and I, we were discussing post-life arrangements earlier today. Well, yesterday. No, it's already early. Yesterday. And, Grizzlt, you are saying, what is your post-life arrangement?
I am going to be pickled, actually. Somewhat preserved. If you know about my land, Skalvert, we do enjoy pickling things because in the desert you have to really preserve things. And so at the beach, I would love to see the ocean, but I plan on being pickled and preserved.
It's not a bad idea.
It's really not. If you think about it, it sounds great to me.
Will it be like a zesty pickling?
I err on the side of spicy a little bit more, only because in my old age, my taste buds aren't what they used to be. So adding a little kick of heat in there really, really makes it stand out.
I could see that. Probably gives color to your cheeks.
My mottled green skin would actually be, I don't know. I'd definitely like to find out.
Well, let's not be too rash. We don't need to find out too soon.
I've been close. You'd be surprised. Recently. Twice.
I hear you. It's part of the adventuring lifestyle.
That's the episode To Wing or Not To Wings, if you want to hear that. What was it you said? For a person with a pair of wings, you spent a lot of time on the ground?
It's very, very true. I did.
Picklings, that is an interesting idea. Is that good for the environment or storage space? Oh, you can be stored without refrigeration. Ah, clever.
100%. Not a lot of refrigeration in Skalvert, so it's very, very eco-friendly.
Sterling's just been in the corner, hand on his chin. I'm gonna have to ask him a little bit more about where he's from one of the days. Intriguing. Oh, all right. Speaking of rituals for the dead, it's funny you mentioned that, because this necklace actually is, we believe, a ritual from ancient Albion. They had quite a lot of rituals when it came to their belief of people moving on into the afterlife. They believed in reincarnation and travel of souls. And so this necklace is supposedly something that someone was given as a safeguard to protect their soul once they went into the afterlife. But, I mean...
Wait. Let me get this straight. This was a safeguard for somebody's soul, and you took it, and now it's here. What about that poor person's soul?
Is it in the box?
I hope you brought the soul too.
That supposedly it travels afterwards. And look, this Albion isn't quite my area of expertise. You'll have to talk to the Consent Creamery's representative for that.
I will. I will. Do I have to put my complaint in written form? Because this disturbs me. I will be honest with you.
Well, you probably should have a paper trail. That's what the authorities really rely on to verify the authenticity of these things. So I'd encourage it.
My handwriting is awful. This is going to be a struggle.
I mean, hey, if you care that much about it, I'm sure you'll get through.
So you said this was from ancient Albion. A different, I guess, the dig site, is it like a community or a cult, or what exactly do you estimate was going on around this area?
Well, a few thousand years ago, this would have been primarily a nomadic tribe. I don't know if you know this, but back then that was primarily tundra rather than the flower fields we see today. So they would have had to travel, especially with the wintertime, going southbound. What we believe is that this was taken from a community burial site that they would visit every summer. and all of the dead that they had or would have while they stayed in that area would be buried at this place, and they would have protective trinkets like this. But we've dug up a couple of these artifacts, and we're going to be putting them into the exhibit, but this one was just so strange. And the other one too. And at this point, Sterling goes and picks up the other box and shows it to you. And that instead is a whistle. It looks to be made out of bone. And on the side of it again is the Firebreathing Kittens logo. This one doesn't have a cord or anything like that strapped around it. It just seems to be the whistle itself, but it's one of those like very long whistles. Looks almost like a miniature flute.
Whoa, now that is some intense tattooing. This member, they will like carve my Firebreathing Kittens logo into my bone.
I mean,
it's probably dead, I imagine, once they carved it in there.
Oh, that would make more sense.
yes, I would imagine. Yes. Where do you get these ideas, Jade?
She's from Albion. I think that's how they do things up there.
I am I am a citizen now. I have a citizenship. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, that's great. I'm totally fine if you're from Albion, Jade. If anything, that makes the Talon necklace even more interesting. Do you happen to know anything about your home country's history?
I like to think of myself as a Nicomoian, and there are places I have been, but you can leave those places and hopefully never I'll talk about them ever again.
Point taken. Fair enough. Moving on. Well, you might want to know a little more about this whistle then. This one is actually a Nicomoy artifact that we found along the coast. Apparently, the coastline used to be further out. There wasn't nearly as much water as there is now. And this one was dug up in not a burial site, we believe, but more in a seasonal ceremony. We think perhaps it was something of a musical instrument used for friendship ritual or something of the kind, as there were plenty of other, best way to put it is wristlets. These were typically used in the past to bind someone's wrist together and be a show of friendship and bond. And so this one is a little bit strange as well, given that we've seen other artifacts like this, but none with the Firebreathing Kittens logo on.
Has anyone tried to blow the whistle?
Well, no, we don't do that with thousands of year old artifacts.
Carefully?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, how do you know if it still works?
It doesn't really need to work. We primarily just look at it for the value of what it can tell us about our history. We have instruments that work. We don't need this one to work.
But what good's an instrument if it doesn't work?
Imagine how disappointed the person that made this instrument is feeling. Going through all that trouble to get bone and make a whistle out of it, and you're just gonna look at it?
Yes.
I won't lie to you. I kind of want to blow it, but I won't. If
I appreciate
you say
that.
I shouldn't. Okay. Grizzlt's gonna go ahead and wander off to find something. He'll put the box down with the necklace. I'll put that back on the table, and he's gonna go find something else to fiddle with.
So this bone whistle, is it approximately the same age as this talisman?
That seems to be what our methods indicate. The Nicomoy persons back then were not nearly as nomadic. They seem to have more permanent settlement around here, but does seem to be from around the same time period, which is interesting in and of itself. Now, I don't normally do this, and if you promise not to blow on it or try and wear it, I can give you either artifact to take a look at. Like I said, there's strong magic around it. Perhaps there's something around there that some of you can sense. I don't know. But if you'd like to hold one of them, you may.
Oh, before we do that, don't touch anything. I want to try something.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to awaken my senses, because I have a sensitivity to magic called magical awareness, where I get to, as an action, open my awareness to concentrated magic, and then it's like a detect magic spell, so to speak. But I just want to see if I can find out more about these things.
And at the same time, I'm going to divine sense, which is that, like, you see my brick red skin and my nostrils flare, and I close my eyelids over my black eyes with no pupils, and I take a deep breath. If there's a celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of me that's not behind total cover, then I'll smell them as farts for undead, a noxious odor on my senses, and as a divine ringing in my ears, or tinnitus, if they're angels.
Okay, a question for you, Skirmish. Does your ability require a check of any kind, or does that just happen?
It does not. I will read it in its totality. Magic awareness. As an action, you can open your awareness to the presence of concentrated magic. Until the end of your next turn, you know the location of any spell or magic item within 60 feet of you that isn't behind total cover. When you sense a spell, you learn what school of magic it belongs to. Now, I know you're saying conjuration, but I'm going to verify.
Yeah, and if it's consecrated or desecrated as an object, let me know.
Okay. So with the divine sense, I'll say that, Jade, you take a deep breath, and there's a lot of dust that fills your nostrils. You sneeze a little bit. But no farts and no tinnitus. As for you, Skirmish, it's not consecrated or desecrated. For you, Skirmish, you open up this magical awareness and you do sense that it is indeed conjuration. I would like you to roll an Arcana check anyway to see if you can intuit some of the more magical properties of this from what.
Oh, I got to 17 for my Arcana check.
Very good. So with the 17, you feel that this is very particular magic, as in it's meant for particular people. There does not seem to be any other kind of trace of magic. It is purely conjure. And it has almost a signature on it. A slight twist in the weave that you can sense and that resonates slightly with. And this is coming from both magical artifacts.
All right, I would like to communicate that to my teammates and say, hey, it is in fact conjuration magic coming from it, but it seems to be attuned or meant for someone in particular. I don't know if that's us, just because we're FBK or not, or it's there's something going on here. I guess that's the best I can give you.
That's interesting. I think that kind of lends itself to my idea of being able to play the whistle, but I will still refrain.
You know, if you want to test the magic item's properties, what better than a fire-blazing kitten to blow on it very gently and carefully?
Do you know the song Hunky Dory Jolly?
Can't say that I do, but if you hum it, I might be able to, replicate it.
No, I don't know it either. I've just heard it's a popular song, and I've been wanting to hear it. It's whistle-specific, though.
Oh, well, now I do, too. Hopefully one day we can listen to that.
We'll have to ask around.
Mm-hmm.
So Sterling will say, so you all would like to hold the whistle first? Or would you prefer to hold the necklace first? The idea of a signature on a magical item is rather interesting, something I've heard about but never encountered. Something from 1,000 or so years ago, though, I kind of doubt that it would be assigned to anybody in this room. Like I said, I've handled these artifacts and nothing has happened to me. But I'd be happy to see if you can glean anything else from it.
Skirmish will go ahead and pick up the box and present it to Grizzlt and say, here you go, the bone whistle. Give it a go. I mean, you're right. Instruments should be listened to.
Grizzlt takes the box and looks over to Sterling and says, well, can I really? I'll be very, very careful, I promise.
You are very careful in blowing the whistle. You may blow the whistle.
Oh, this is going to be exciting.
Please be careful, though. I cannot stress this enough. Please be careful.
Oh, of course. I promise. I know it's an old whistle, and I'm an old goblin, so we have this mutual understanding.
And you can see Sterling start to, take out a sending stone. And he's like, hey, everybody, Sterling here. We've got a couple of interesting artifacts and some of the fire-breathing kittens helping us ask some questions and figure out some answers. Now, let's see. They've discovered currently that there's a signature on these magical items. Let's see if they can figure something else out.
Grizzlt is going to put the box on the ground, and open it, and very, very carefully take out the whistle and gently get it, Grizzle's not going to put his mouth on the whistle, but getting very close to his lips and just gently blow into the opening of the whistle.
Despite its age, there is a clear and suddenly you three feel a tug on your heart. And then that tug moves to your body. And suddenly, you all feel as though you're being pulled away. You can see Sterling and the room fading away in the distance as though you are rapidly tugged backwards. There is a blur in your eyes and black streaks by with the sound, with the sound of that whistle tone. And suddenly, you begin to slow, and you land very gently upon a bed of soft grass. You look around you, and you feel the humidity rest upon you as you see giant trees with enormous leaves covering their branches. In your immediate vicinity, you're in a grassy clearing with ferns spread around. And you hear shouts and calls and a roar as suddenly your vision focuses even more on what's in front. A giant lizard that towers above you and the people beyond it that seem to be fighting it. It has a long, thick tail, and it rests on 2 feet, 2 legs that look as thick as tree trunks. The body grows upward. The arms seem to be rather small, but have hooked claws on the ends of it. And the maw is so thick and riddled with sharp teeth that it seems almost scarier to look upon this creature than it is to hear its enormous roar. For players, this is a T-Rex. And I would like you all to roll initiative.
Of course. I was going to fight it anyway.
So to give you all some perspective while you're rolling your initiatives, this is, for simplicity, a circular clearing 60 feet in radius. The T-Rex is right in the middle, and at 12 o'clock is a group of 4 or 5 people dressed in what look to be hides. Some of them wield spears, while some of them wield a bow and arrow, but they seem to be at the mercy of this creature. You 3 will have popped out at around 5 o'clock in this circular clearing. And the T-Rex has not necessarily noticed you yet, but I would like us to have this initiative order ready, just in case it comes to combat. But you guys may do whatever you'd like in this moment.
Well, that was certainly interesting, but good news, it works. So Skirmish, when we learn that new song, we'll definitely play it.
Oh, that sounds great. It looks like it summons dancing partners, so to speak. I'm very excited.
It really does. Would you look at that? Just staring up. Has anyone ever seen something like that before?
No.
No. My initiative was 2, by the way.
Oh, mine was 16.
Grizzlt was 19. Well, this is very interesting. They seem to be fighting. Do you think we should help? Or, I mean, I'm kind of want to play the whistle again, but I'll leave that up to you guys. Okay.
We could help and then play the whistle. I mean, we could do both.
Okay, should we attack the people with the spears, bow, and arrow who are doing an illegal hunt, or the animal, the wild animal?
Well, I like to give people and things the benefit of the doubt, so let's shout at them and figure out if we can resolve this diplomatically, and if not, we could decide who to attack after.
Okay.
So then
do you have
Skirmish will
papers
shout.
for your T-Rex? Sorry. Do you have papers for your hunt? Is it lizard season?
You see your voice shouting draws the attention of the people, but also of the lizard. And
I will shout at the lizard, do you have papers for your people hunt? Somebody, we all need to be in line here.
There better be some papers, is what they're saying.
The lizard roars again and kind of like shaking its hands at you as though trying to intimidate you.
The visuals.
While Jade and Skirmish are asking for papers, Grizzlt's going to go off just a few feet and put the whistle down gently in a nice soft patch of grass before coming back and saying, just waving back to the lizard as it waves its arms. Grizzlt will do the same thing.
Listeners, to visualize this, put your forearms against your chest, and so your wrists are like on your clavicle, your shoulder bone, and then just flap your palms with your fingers straight.
And you also have to yell roar. You have to yell roar while you do it to feel powerful.
Jade, I don't speak this giant lizard language. Does that mean he's got papers, or that he does not?
Oh, DM, I speak Draconic, Infernal, and Undercommon. Do I understand rar?
It is very rough Draconic, almost as though it's like kind of related, but it's less popular dialect. And so you hear it generally say, grrr, hunger, hunger.
Interesting.
He tiene hambre, if you know what I mean.
As a matter of fact, I do, yes.
I believe I do. I've heard that.
Also, DM, just another note, Grizzlt has Tongue of the Sun and Moon, so Grizzlt understands all spoken languages, and any creature that can understand a language can understand what Grizzlt says.
Okay, well that's perfect, Grizzlt, because Jade called out to the people. Jade, Skirmish, you hear something akin to them yelling at you, and they're like waving you over, trying to, get you to run as though trying to get you to safety. And they're yelling, Ixa, Ixa, Anono, Ixa. But Grizzlt, what you hear is, run, run, what are you doing, you idiots, run.
Just a point to everyone. The people that are over there are yelling at us to run away, and they're not being very nice. They did call us stupid, but they're saying we should run.
They don't even know us. I mean, we may be stupid, but it's not up to them to
They
just
don't know that
come out
yet.
and say that. Yeah, they got to get to know us first. No offense, y'all.
None taken. Grizzlt will actually yell back, because anything that Grizzlt speaks they can understand. We're not stupid, first. And second, what is going on? Jade would like to know if you have papers.
What is paper?
Jade, I don't think they have papers. They don't know what paper is.
Well, who's the stupid one now? I know what paper is.
This is an illegal hunt.
I tell you what, why don't you sort it out with those people, and I'll jump on the back of this giant lizard, because I bet he doesn't have papers either. And Skirmish will just start running to the lizard, about to jump on his back.
Perfect. So now we will enter true initiative. So it's going to be Grizzlt, then Skirmish, then the unknown people. They're going to act, and then the dinosaur, and then... All right. So Grizzlt, you're up first. Once you're ready.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. Grizzlt is going to make his way towards the people, keeping clear of the giant lizard, and talk as he's approaching them, saying, we're here because of a whistle. Do any of you have a whistle or maybe a necklace with some talons on it? Essentially, he's relatively oblivious to the giant dinosaur. But that will be his turn, will be heading over towards the people, trying to converse with them.
Perfect. So what's your walking speed?
60 feet.
60 feet? Wow. Okay.
He's a quick little old goblin.
Yeah.
Yes.
No kidding. Okay. I was like,
Wait, you
that's
can
probably
actually
going to
get
be like
to them
40.
then.
Yeah, I can just
Oh my
waddle
gosh.
my way over there very quickly.
Perfect. So I'm going to put you right there. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Probably won't be the best in the world, but let's go ahead and do... That's an 8.
8. You're trying to talk to them, make yourself less threatening, more welcoming, I guess is a better way to put it. But they are just panicked. They are splitting their attention between you and the dinosaur, and they just keep shouting like, you're going to get crushed and we're going to be responsible. You have to, get away, go.
Even after seeing them run 120 feet in 6 seconds around the dinosaurs so nimbly.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care that you can, clearly you can run fast, go run away.
It's very true. I am quick.
Okay, great. Skirmish, your turn.
All right, so I'm the running gets my blood pumping, and I would like to rage because I just want to get all this settled now, and then we could do the talking when it's appropriate. So I'm gonna rage, and when I use my rage initially, I get to move half my movement speed automatically as part of my instinctive pounce. So I'm gonna move toward the dinosaur or the big lizard, and then also move. So I'm jumping on his back, and then I get a wild surge, which I do not control. I rolled an 8, which means a bolt of light shoots out of my chest, and another creature of my choice that I can see within 30 feet must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. So please, Mr. Lizard, see if you can succeed on that.
Lizards back then are rather beefy. That is an 18 on the Constitution save.
18 is the number you got to get, I believe. So you saved, so you're not blinded, but you're still going to get me on the back of your back. So I'm jumping on the back. I'm not drawing weapons or anything because I'm going to grapple him and try to just get him under control. Just like, hey, settle down. Let's talk.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a contested strength check to try and grapple this dinosaur. And also, just to note, you can use the bolt of light effect as a bonus action on each of your turns.
Oh, I will. Don't worry about that. I mean, depending on how things go, I don't really control it, supposedly. I got a 35, a natural 20.
Excellent. Okay. How you got a natural 20? Describe to me how you grapple this enormous lizard.
So, here's what I do. I jump on his back, and somehow, I don't know how, but my arms manage to get around to where his tiny arms are, and I pin him back as I'm trying to, get him in what would a modern day equivalent would be like a full Nelson. Mm-hmm. And so I'm pinning his arms back, and I'm trying to wrestle him to the ground and knock him off kilter so he's going down to the right.
Yeah. Well, what you didn't know, Skirmish, but happened to do rather skillfully, the arms seem like it's very important for this creature's balance. So having them out of commission, grappled to its sides, it immediately falls prone. With you on it, just because you're on it and toppling down, you only get 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, when I'm raging, that gets cut in half, so that's just 1 point.
You get a very dramatic scratch on your cheek as you fall to the ground grappling this T-Rex, but it is now prone and very angry. It keeps roaring and trying to move its hands and its arms, but you've got this thing locked down.
I would also like to be shouting as I do that. We just want to talk.
Perfect. All right. Well, it is the unknown people's turn. They just saw you literally take down this giant lizard. And so they turn to Grizzlt and say, you're with him, huh?
Oh, yes, I am absolutely with him.
All right. Well, we were here. We didn't want to fight it, but it seemed to be coming after us. So if you guys can figure out a way to take care of it, either send it away or kill it, that works. We would love to kill it, actually. That's pretty good meat for the tribe.
As they say this, Grizzlt will be relaying this information to Skirmish and to Jade, saying they want to know if they can eat it or if we can just send it away.
As the hunting season ended for the year.
I'll relay that.
We always hunt. It's always hunting season.
They say it's always hunting season.
Hey, open season, okay.
So, should I tell them they can kill it? Are we going to kill it? Or maybe do you think you could blow a whistle? Probably not.
As I hear this discussion over the roars of this, or in between the roars of the lizard, I'm like, well, I told him we just want to talk. And if we kill him, I'm going to be a liar. And I'm doing all I can to keep him under control. So let's talk first. And if he doesn't agree, maybe we can move on to the next step.
I shall pass that to the people, and then I'll say to the lizard, if he understands the language, I'll say, well, lizard, if you would like to talk, my friend Skirmish, the one who now has you on the ground, is more than welcome, more than willing to have a conversation, if you'd like.
So the unknown people are rather confused. There are some raised eyebrows and the like. But seeing your power and also seeing the fact that you're able to communicate them, though they've seen no one like for Grizzlt, they keep their spears and their bows and arrows at the ready. But they say, if you guys want to try talking to this beast, then by all means. But we're ready to kill it. So they will hold their collective actions to attack it, should anything.
They said we can try talking to it.
Okay. So now it's the dinosaur's turn. It's going to roll an intelligence check to see if it will have necessary... Oh, wow. That's a natural 16. But -4 modifier on the intelligence. So... though it understands that there are words being spoken to it, its instinct to have food is override. So it is going to try and get out of your grapple, Skirmish. It starts to roll onto its back, like side to side. So go ahead and roll.
I'm getting squished.
Yeah, go ahead and roll another strength check, athletics check for the grapple.
I got a 29.
Okay, this time it got a 22, but still not quite enough to beat you. So it tries to roll. Its big tail gets in the way, though. So you're able to hold on without taking too much. It doesn't seem like there's anybody else around it. And it can't get up from its prone because its arms are tied to its side. So we're going to say it's Jade's turn.
Okay, I'm 60 feet away from it, right? At the 5 o'clock position, and it's like the center of a circle, and the radius is 60. So my movement is 30.
Okay.
All I can do is move up to it this turn.
Okay.
By expending my action to downgrade it into a movement, move 30, and then by using my movement to move 30, which is called dashing. I stop at the T-Rex.
Okay.
And I'm at the head end, not the tail end.
Seems like a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Jade, as you walk up to this creature, it has really stinky breath, but you can see because it's got rows and rows of sharp pointed teeth, almost the size of your paw, probably even bigger than that for some of them. And there's bits of flesh and stuff beneath the cracks between the teeth. This creature's eyes are going rather wild. You can tell it's not in a very good mood, but you speaking Draconic, you could decide if you want to try and talk to it.
Yeah, I'll try. I say, ¿Estás liste para morir?
I will...
And I'd like to intimidate it.
Yes, Go ahead and roll intimidation.
Okay. I'm not trained in this, but I have a +5, so... it's only a 14, though. I'm just not very intimidating. It is a T-Rex.
Yeah, it's the language barrier. You know, you're speaking Draconic as you've learned it, but it's like, you know, there's some things lost in translation.
Castilian Draconic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This guy's from the jungle. You learned it on the coast. It's a little different. But yeah, there you can see that there's a response. It does recognize that you spoke to it. But the rage is such that it's not taken in by what you're close though. You're close. You can see that seed of like minimal intelligence being sparked. All right, Grizzlt, we're back to you.
Okay, well, seeing as how the people have kind of calmed down, Grizzlt will move up and join Jade near the head of the large lizard, and will, just as a precaution, going to spend 5 key points to go ahead and awaken my astral self. So as a bonus action, I can spend those 5 points to summon the arms, visage, and body of my astral self. So little 3'1" Grizzlt closes his eyes for a moment and begins to glow just ever so faintly as an extra set of arms, a almost spectral helmet, along with a chest armor piece kind of appears around his body. He does stand up a little straighter, now closer to maybe 3'2". But standing there, he will just prepare himself, but also speak to the giant lizard and saying, "We don't necessarily want to kill you, but these people," pointing behind him with one of the astral arms, "seem to want to eat you or to have you go away. So this choice is really yours."
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check or an intimidation check, your choice, and do either with advantage because you have this larger figure behind you now. You've made yourself look bigger.
Heck yeah. Okay, so that's... okay, so that's a 14 with advantage.
14 with advantage. Oh, God. You guys are so close. You're so close.
To be fair, my bonuses are -1 on both of those.
Oh, no. Oh, man. I mean, it's the same thing as Jade saw. There is this inkling of intelligence there, but what you're trying to say isn't getting through because there just isn't enough to get it to turn off its instinctive, I need to get out and I want to eat. You're so close, though. You're so close.
I don't think we're going to get through to him.
Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Grizzlt?
No, that actually with my as my action, so my bonus action, I'd like to ready a dodge.
Okay.
And that will be it.
Okay. All right, Skirmish, you're up.
All right, so I'm listening to these people, my team, Jade and Grizzlt. They're trying to talk sense into this lizard, and he's not responding in a way that's positive. So what I will do is I will use my bonus action to shoot the light out of my chest again. And since I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I assume it's going to be so bright that it's going to go around his back into his eyes to try to blind him. So can you please roll a Constitution saving throw?
Indeed. That's going to be a 17.
Aha! You do not pass. And so you're going to take a bit of radiant damage as well. So you're blinded, number 1. And I think you need to roll a 1d6. Or maybe I'll roll it if you'd like. Either way.
You can roll it for damage. It's your damage.
All right.
The damage you're dealing.
I'm sorry, I'm not in the right place. Let me just do this. All right, 1d6, and it is 3 radiant damage.
Sick.
And then that's my bonus action. My action is going to be, since I have his arms pinned with my arms, I'm going to do a headbutt on what I assume is the back of his skull. So an unarmed strike.
Perfect.
And let's see. Well, that will be a 30 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, that is 10 bludgeoning damage.
I think because it is prone, it is also an automatic critical. So go ahead and roll that as critical damage instead.
So you're going to have to walk me through this. So I've got a feature I've just unlocked, and it's, what is it called? Brutal Critical. I can roll 3 additional weapon damage dice when determining the extra damage for a critical hit with a melee attack. So I have a base with an unarmed strike. It's only 10 damage. So how does a critical work in that case?
So
it's 10 plus my rage damage, so it's 14 total damage.
So I believe unarmed strike is typically it's either a D4. And so if you have just like that base, I would say normally I double the damage. So for me personally as a critical, so double that base first and then roll your 3 unarmed strike dice. I think.
Well, for my excuse me, it's hard for me to say that. For my strike, it's just a base 10 plus my rage damage. So there's no dice being rolled at all. So I'm not really sure how to do that.
Yeah, so as God.
Okay, yes, you tell me
Yeah.
what to do.
So we'll take that base damage as it is. Because you got a critical, I typically also do double damage. So I'd say
Alright.
raise that base from 10 to 20 and
Okay.
then add that rage damage just plain.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say your unarmed strike is going to be a d6. So roll 3d6 because that's your melee.
Perfect. So the 3d6 ends up being a 13,
13.
plus the 20 plus the 4. So it's a 37 with my headbutt.
That's one
Very
heck of a headbutt.
solid. Perfect. So you headbutt this lizard right after a giant light just expels itself from your chest. And it is so bright that the dinosaur can see it out of the corner of its eye and it flinches away. Jade and Grizzlt, you're also hit a little bit by it, but you're not blinded because there's enough body mass there to keep you guys protected. But that is a solid chunk of damage to this thing. It's pretty angry, but I will say the show of force has lowered the DC if you guys would like to continue talking to it. It has made it angry, but also kind of afraid.
That's my turn.
Okay, perfect. So the unknown people are next, and they're all going to, after seeing Skirmish attack, they're also going to attack. And so I pre-rolled some of those. That's going to be a total of about 20 damage from all of their bows and spears. And so now it is the T-Rex's turn. It's, at this point, it is going to try and purposefully get you off of its back, Skirmish. So instead of contesting this grapple check, it's going to flip entirely on its back and try and climb.
Fair enough.
Oh, no.
That's one way.
Okay, so that's going to be a 28 to hit.
Oh, that definitely hits, for sure.
And I'm going to adjust some of its tail damage as just body damage. So I'm going to roll the damage that is, I'm going to roll d8 plus modifier. That's going to be 26 bludgeoning damage to you.
Okay, I will turn that into a 13.
Interception.
Oh.
When a creature you can see, which can I still see him or is he completely smooshed by T-Rex?
You can still see him.
Okay. When a creature you can see hits a target other than you, oh, actually, I can definitely see the T-Rex within 5 feet of you with an attack. You can use your reaction to reduce the damage the target takes by 11 damage.
Wow.
So from 26 to 15 then?
Yes. And then have that for your raid.
All right. So I've got this property.
And what
Go
that
ahead.
looks like is I stick the shield and I wedge so the dinosaur is holding up its body on the shield. And the shield can be crushed by this because it's a cursed object, so it'll just reassemble itself and come back to me. I've tried.
Okay, perfect. Just due to the massive weight, it does crack and a few pieces fall off, but you're not that worried. Skirmish, this does not hurt as much as you thought it would.
So, as it turns out, I've got this property called Unstable Backlash, and so whenever I get damage during my rage, I get to roll another d8 from the Wild Search table. I roll the same thing, an 8, and so another bolt of light comes out of my chest, and so you need to roll another Constitution saving throw.
All right. That is a natural 1 on that save.
So, yeah, you didn't get it, and so you get a 1d6 damage, radiant damage, and let's see, that's a 2, so you get 2, and you're also blinded, but you're already blinded, so it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, that's still pretty good. Chipping away at it. All right. Jade, it's your turn.
All right, so you'll notice that I have a flaming sword in my hand. And it's prone still, right?
Yes, it is.
Which means I get advantage to hit it. I don't think it changes the damage, does it? Just advantage to hit?
I believe if you're on the ground, you also have critical if you hit it with a...
Oh, no. Oh, that changes all my numbers.
I normally would just double it.
Just double the slashing part, do you think? Or all the
Yeah.
damage? Okay.
No, just double the slashing.
Okay. All right. So my sword... Okay, one sec. Okay, I did. Okay. All right. I'm going to describe what happens. So I'm at the T-Rex. I'm within 5 feet of it. And first, a shield reassembles itself and comes back to me. Good old cursed shield missile attraction. Welcome back, friend. And then I swing Maliokus, the demon sword, and it's on fire, right? And I swing it once. I swing it twice. The total is 99 damage, and I'm going to explain how.
Oh,
Wow.
You know what?
My sword says, "Todos los que te han querido sean equivocado," as it does 6 psychic damage. So it's 15 slashing and 13 slashing for the 2 slashes, which doubled is 30 and 26. And then the insult was 2 psychic and 4 psychic. And the fire damage is 2 fire and 5 fire. And then my improved Divine Smite is 7 radiant plus 6 radiant. And then I do cast Divine Smite at 4th level for 17 additional radiant. So I'm not sure if any of that damage is reduced by anything, but I think that totals 99 damage. Just shy of 100.
I think so. Well, Jade, why don't you describe this killing blow then? More than you already have.
That's fantastic.
I raise my flaming sword, which shouts that everyone who ever loved you was wrong, and that's the last thing the reptile hears.
You can hear Jade because you recognize just a little bit of this dialect of Draconic. As you swing your sword and end its life, you scream that insult, and it just says, the T-Rex just says, "No." Bleh.
Oh, goodness.
Way to
That's
really
incredible.
Beat it down before you kill it. Well done.
Literally insult to injury.
Truly defeated, yes.
I look at Maliokus and I'm like, you are kind of mean sometimes.
Yes, isn't that the point? Says Maliokus.
It would say that. He would. Yeah.
All right. So, initiative over, combat done rather handily.
I had so many pre-rolls ready.
It's always good to be prepared. You never know. The only reason Jade could pop this off so fast is because she pre-rolled it all.
Yeah.
So good. Okay. So seeing that mighty display of strength, these people, once you turn to them, you can see that they're definitely, again, simply dressed in hide clothing. There seem to be some ceremonial markings on them, though. And Grizzlt, you would have noticed this when you had gone to go and talk to them. They seem to have their faces painted in red and black clay in the visages of this creature. It looks like a painted mask. And currently those painted jaws are wide open at the display. And they address you, Grizzlt, and they say, in particular, there's a woman there who seems to be the leader. She's holding a bow and arrow. And she says, "My, that was something. Where are you from again?"
Well, we're from Nikamoy, really, but I'm not sure if that's anywhere near here, or if any of you have ever heard of it.
I can't say that I have. It sounds rather close to our town's name of Kamoy, but I've never heard of Nikamoy. Regardless, I assume you all are friends, yes?
I look to Skirmish and Jade and says, so, should we consider them friends?
I hand them a steak.
I please accept this gift as a token of friendship.
As I would like to, when I hear that question from Grizzlt, I would like to push the dinosaur off of me because I'm still underneath it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I think there's no better way to solidify a friendship than defeating a common enemy. So yeah, I'm good with that. I like friends. And my rage drops also.
Good to know. So they all look at the three of you, and the leader says, well, simply can't argue with the prepared steak. My name is Evantra. I am the leader of the Hunters of Kamoy. And must be honest, I've never quite seen people like you before, especially in our jungles. if you're travelers and need some place to rest, I can bring you back to our town. And seeing as how we have quite the bounty now to share, I think there will be a great feast tonight in celebration.
Well, that's very appreciative. Grizzlt will relay all this information to everyone. My name is Grizzlt. This is Skirmish. And this is
I am Jade.
I hear my name and I wave. Hey.
They have kindly invited us back to their village to, well, eat the giant lizard.
Oh, nice. Do they need help carrying it back to their village?
Yes.
The
Okay.
emphatic nodding, yes.
So what I will do then is I have a small figurine in my backpack, and it's a figurine of wondrous power in the shape of an elephant. And I put it on the ground and I say, I'm supposed to say a magic word. I'll just say, "Come on, elephant!" And that'll be it. And the elephant will appear, and then I will attach some ropes from the elephant to the lizard so we can drag it back. No, you know what? I'll just pick it up and put it on the back of the elephant. Elephant's strong.
All right. That is definitely something you can do, and it makes quite the impression, on these people. You can see some of the other hunters are visibly awestruck, and they start whispering something. Grizzled, you can understand them saying, Kingslayer, this one's a king. And that, to your word, Skirmish, is Aksha. So they keep saying your name, Skirmish Aksha.
I try to correct them because it's Skirmish Killington.
No, Skirmish. What they're saying is Kingslayer.
Oh,
So
well, that's a
Skirmish,
nice
yeah.
nickname.
Aksha. King. Grizzled will say to the people, "Do you have kings here?"
Oh, no, we don't have kings. Those are those who rule the jungle. We're simply other people who live, but the ones who can kill you are the kings.
Oh, so yes, Skirmish, you seem to be a king slayer and a king here with them.
Well, to be honest, I just held it down while Jade did the heavy lifting.
No, I am
Honestly.
not the king of Guasso. I refuse. I keep telling you. Stop telling people this.
It's only true, though.
And that's from Willie's birthday bonanza, where whoever lifted the sword out of the stone becomes the king of Guasso. I'm like, no, I'll put you back if you make me do that. I want to retire and have a nice, peaceful life.
You can also see some people looking at you, Jade, with reverence, and they're kind of like bowing their heads to you as well. Grizzled, for Jade, they are speaking of mighty shaman. And so that, like to Jade, your ears hear Anas, mighty shaman.
Okay, yeah. So, and Jade, you got a name too. They are calling you the mighty shaman. I think that's pretty cool. I look to them. Do I get a name?
Oh, yes. You're the little speaker.
I'll take it.
Costa.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
And so you all follow this group. You follow Ivantra over to their town, and you can see it's actually not that far away. The fact that there is a giant lizard here close by probably was what made them come out to try and either defeat it or scare it away. You walk through the rest of the jungle, and you can see maybe only about 15-minute walk away is a small set of huts. They look almost like yurts, if you guys have ever seen those. But instead of having straw and hide, they instead have like giant leaves and reptile hides. So it looks a lot greener than the yurts that we players know. There seem to be lots of fires going around, people running around, and you're surprised to see that there is quite a lot of diversity here in terms of, races of people, much like you see in Nicomoy itself. Probably the only peoples who seem to be missing are the ones that don't natively live in Nicomoy. So, for example, Skirmish, there's no one who looks like you. Jade as well, there's no one who looks like you. And Grizzled, there's no one who looks like you. You all are not native to Nikamoy. But, there are a lot of elves, half-elves, humans, gnomes, dwarves, halflings, a lot of what you would traditionally think of as D&D races. And they're all coexisting here. The largest building seems to be a very long hut, and there seem to be multiple smoke fires coming out of there. And there are no walls here. This place is just open and spread out. Far to the left side of you, you see a rather crude pen, but you can see some cows sitting in there, and that seems to be their domesticated livestock. You can see some dogs wandering the streets as well, begging for food and scraps, and just also serving as protection for some people. But this seems to be a small but lively community. And Avantra turns to you and says, "We will go and speak with the Kimas, our grand shaman, as you would know it, Grizzled. Nyota Kimas will be very excited to meet you." And she starts to snap her fingers. The other people at this point ask you, Skirmish, if just kind of like making gestures and stuff, but essentially asking if they could like take the lizard from here and like lead it to their cooks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I understand what they're trying to say, and I'm like, I take it off the elephant. I recall my elephant back into his statue, put it in my pack, and then I stick around in case they need help moving things.
Perfect. They seem to be very capable, as though they have done this before. They quickly bring other people along. You can see most of the community goes over to help. Even the children bring tools and things like that. And so it is a rather free walk. And Avantra leads you all to the very hut with multiple fires inside of it. And there, right before you meet the Grand Shaman of Kamoi, we're going to take our break. So joining us today is Skirmish.
Well, that was a fine tumble. Enjoy that.
Grizzlt.
I didn't get to hit the dinosaur.
And and Jade.
Jade says my bad, and Maliokas mutters something, and I go, shh.
All right. We'll see you guys when we get back.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a review.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. No. We'll see you in a little bit after this one review. I think it's Grizzlt reading it, right?
That is right. So
Perfect.
This is a 5-star review that we got on
Those are the best.
iTunes. They really are the best. This is from DNDads336, saying, "Recently got into D&D with my daughter, and listening to the fun characters and great storytelling has really given us something to bond over, and it's a great source of inspiration for our own campaigns. 10 out of 10 would absolutely listen again." And if you, listeners, would like to leave us a review on iTunes, we promise that we'll read it on our future episodes and give a shout out to whoever it was.
Perfect. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We hope that you're enjoying this episode of the Firebreathing Kittens podcast. This episode's shout out is from Orange Juice Neo, who says, quote, "Lost your keys? Lost your job? Look at the bright side. At least you're not plagued by pterodactyls, pursued by rogue robots, or pestered by zombie poodles. Life is good. The Things Could Be Worse teacup is designed to remind you how lucky you are." End quote. Can you think of someone who might enjoy this podcast? Please share it with them. Is their birthday coming up? A special day? We can wish them a happy message on your behalf. You can arrange for us to read your shout out on air at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com through our partnership with the website Buy Me a Coffee. Do you enjoy reading books? You can find ebooks, paperbacks, hardcover novels, and audiobooks based on our adventures on Amazon.com. The authors do a great job of adapting the stories into fun novels. We also have official merchandise on Redbubble.com. Imagine owning a notebook with the Firebreathing Kittens logo on the front, or a pair of socks with one of your favorite characters on them. Lastly, we don't pay to advertise our show, so the only way we can grow is if you tell someone about us. Is there an episode that might make that person smile? Share it with them. Thank you.
All right. We are back. Hopefully you all are back too. Before we get started on the second part of the game, can somebody please roll a d20, or all of you all roll a d20 to see who gets to recap? Closest number to the one I'm thinking of is the lucky winner.
11.
That is a 6.
I got a 12.
Yes.
The number was 17, so Skirmish, you have the honor.
All right, perfect. So there we were, right? In the guild hall, and Grizzlt was introducing me to tea, which was fantastic. I've never had that before, and I will try it again later. So as we were getting to know each other, because we were meeting today for the very first time, Jade comes in after taking care of her family, which I really respect, by the way, at the post office and the bank. And then all of a sudden, Stella's brother, Sterling, comes in. And, you know, he's a good-looking lad, I must say. But he looked a little distressed. And in talking to him, he said that there's going to be an exhibition at the Nicomoy Natural History Museum where all these artifacts were being dug up and they'll be shown. But there's a mystery going on because a couple of them have logos that are identical to the Firebreathing Kittens logo. The cat blowing fire. It's very exciting. So we're like, hey, we love mysteries, so show us what you've got. And so he escorts us down to the museum, and then we get to the museum, and I'm not touching anything, because I break everything. But Grizzlt does not have that problem. He goes around and he's looking at things, he's picking things up, because there's so much interesting stuff to look at. And Sterling, although visibly annoyed, allows it to happen, and kind of, not really. Well, Grizzle keeps going anyway. So what is discovered is that there's 2 boxes. One is a pendant with like a talon, a claw, a talon pendant that has the logo of Fire Breathing Kittens on it. And then there was a whistle made of bone, and carved into the whistle is the logo also. And after some back and forth as to the history, that one is from Albion, one is from the Nicomoy area, and kind of the general timeline. Thousands of years ago, these were dug up. Why do they have this logo? How old is the guild? We don't really know. Nobody knows. What we do know is that instruments were meant to be played, and so I present the whistle to Grizzlt. He plays a note that is beautiful and haunting at the same time. And all of a sudden, when we hear this note, the 3 of us are pulled back to some location or time or something. I'm not sure where we are or when we are, but we're definitely in a new place. And we see a giant, a dragon/lizard, roaring at some people who look very scared. And we're trying the diplomatic approach, as we try to do, you know. That's, I think, in the contract. And then it doesn't work at all. And so I end up dropping the lizard to the ground, while Jade shish kebabs it, fillets it, however you want to put it. And Grizzlt is an excellent diplomat, talking to both the lizard and the people, because he can speak in ways that none of us can. And we are celebrated for defeating this enemy. They carry the carcass off to the village. And we are about to find... we meet a lady who is the leader of this group. And her name I wrote down. Give me a moment. It's on the other page. Okay.
Evantra.
Yeah. Evantra, thank you. I just got there. And then Evantra and the group give us all nicknames. I am Aksha the Kingslayer. Jade is Anas the Mighty Shaman. And Grizzlt is Costa the Little Speaker. We go to their village, and we're about to talk to the Grand Shaman, and that's where we left off, and now you're all caught up.
Perfect. Thank you, Skirmish. So, Evantra leads you into the long hut. As soon as you pass through the leafy and reptile skin flaps that are the doors, a wave of smoke, of incense smoke, passes over. There are long benches that line the sides of this hut, but they are all empty. There are also fire pits, 3, that are at common intervals, going the length of the hut. Sitting in front of the very first one, facing the door, is what looks to be a rather old woman. She wears piles of hide robes upon her shoulders as though she's freezing, even though she's sitting right next to the fire. Her long brown hair is done up in braids, but the braids seem to have been there for so long that some of the hair has frayed. And then her face itself, though calm and collected, is very wrinkled, and the skin seems to sag downwards. This woman looks upon the 3 of you silently, and Avantra gets down on both of her knees and bows her head. And she says, Grizzlt, you would understand her to say, Grand Shaman Nyota, I bring to you 3 warriors. I believe that your vision has come true, and these 3 can help us. And so Nyota doesn't seem to be fazed by that, but she then says, in a language all of you can understand, Welcome. Please be well and be seated. I have been here many long years, waiting for...
Well, thank you. That's very kind. Grizzle's going to take a seat, even though he's very much fighting the urge to just go wander around, but he feels like this might be important. Then he'll take a seat by the fire.
Well, finally, somebody who knows how to speak our language. Nice to meet you. I have been very uncomfortable ever since we got here because nobody seems, except for my friends here, can speak in a way that I understand. I only speak Common and Giant after all. What is your name again? I'm Skirmish.
My name is Nyota.
Oh, that's lovely. Nyota, pleasure to meet you. And I side-eye the bowing that's going on, and I put my hand over my fist, and I bow respectfully.
I reach into my bag, and I get these vitamin E pills, and I'm like, you look like you're having a hot flash. You know, I am very familiar with these. Zimatap, you know, you could try it. It won't hurt, you know.
From beneath the robe of skins, you see a small, almost like a child's hand, but so calloused and wrinkled that it can only be Nyota's. It peeks out and just, she holds her hand out for whatever you would like to give her, Jade.
I give her a pill bottle full of vitamin E pills. And I'm like, it can't help. May you meet your daily minimums. You need to at least have to cross a worley off your list.
She nods quietly, sagely, grasps the bottle, and her hand simply retreats back into the folds of her hide robes.
Also, there's a placebo double-blinded controlled trial study done on it's ZIAEI et al. 2007 gynecological obstetric investigation that concluded that vitamin E did help with hot flashes.
Perfect.
400
Grizzle's
IUs.
going to be sure to convey all of this to the shaman. It's very important.
You want 400 IUs a day?
I'm not to be judgy, but her hair looks like it needs a bit of help, and I know vitamin E can help in that regard as well. Not that she doesn't look beautiful. I'm just saying, health is important, and I just want to make sure she's taken care of.
Could be right, could be wrong. You can read the paper. There's the source. Have fun.
Oh, but they don't know what paper is.
Oh, no, that was to the listeners.
I know. I'm just after Jade hands the pills over, Grizzlt will say, so, pardon me for eavesdropping, but there was something said about your, a vision or a prophecy regarding us?
Yes, something rather dark, at least for our people. It seems as though a trespasser has arrived in our lands, and the forces around me speak of only a chosen few who may do something about it. Strangers is what they said. They would be strangers, but still akin enough to us that we would recognize them and understand them. And so I believe that these strangers are you.
Oh, that reminds me, Grizzlt. That whistle you put down on the ground before our encounter, did you happen to pick that up? I'd like to show it to this lady.
I sure didn't. I can go get it lickety-split, though. If needed.
Nyota, well, we've got this thing we'd like to show you. Thank you. We may be these strangers that you're talking about. We have questions for you, but it regards a whistle we left back. We were busy, there was a big fight and all. Could you answer questions?
Yes, I will answer what questions you have.
Do you make bone whistles here?
We do. It is a rite of bonding.
What, rite of bonding? What does that entail?
Well, it depends upon the bonding type. Bonding of friends is different than bondings of parents. So, what sort of whistle do you speak of? What does it look like?
Well, it was a whistle made of bone, and it had an insignia on it, and I show her my tattoo, which is on the knuckle, across the knuckles of my hand, and it had an insignia that looked like this, which was a mystery for us.
I am unsure myself of what that symbol is, but we have many whistles here. What kind of whistle was it?
I looked at Grizzlt, because he's the one who actually did the blowing on it. Grizzlt, what kind of whistle was it?
Well, it was a bone whistle. That sounded a little bit like this, and then Grizzle's gonna do his best to replicate the whoo. I don't quite know if that helps. I could go get it, but it might take me a few minutes.
No, I know of the whistle of which you speak.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm so glad, honestly.
It was a fair try. I understand what you were getting at, though. No, the whistle of that pure tone is typically used in bondings between protectors and those they protect.
Would you happen to make necklaces out of, say, glass beads and almost like the ones from the giant lizard? Would you make something like that, too, as part of this bonding?
No, the necklaces are things we have seen from far tribes, but they are too unwieldy for the jungle. We do not make necklaces. If you have come across a whistle, a sign of the protector, then that gives me even more confidence that you are indeed the ones I have been waiting for. Let me ask you, do you know of any trespassers? Those who are not of this place?
As a matter of fact, I do. So, in a couple of different encounters, or quote-unquote episodes for the listener, there have been these crazy moth people that are not, well, they're not all bad. The last one I met was very nice. But most of them are aggressive and not so nice, and they kidnap artists, and they just think they own the place, and they sprinkle this dust all over the place that turns the dead into the undead, which I do not like at all. I hate the undead. They're called the Eckenblim, so that's the only people I can think of. There may be others, but that's the first one that comes to mind for me.
Then it seems we must rely upon, for I believe these Eckenblim are also here, though much disguised, I believe. We have seen traces of dust, things not of our town or of this jungle, and we fear what might become of those who touch it. But we have not seen those who leave this dust. If you would choose to be protectors of Kamoi and her people, I would ask you to find this Eckenblim and to share with us what you find, so that we might also protect ourselves. I believe the forces that sent you here have done so for a purpose, to help us. But perhaps it may help you as well.
I'm all for helping. What do you think, guys?
Sure.
Well, we're here, so I don't see why not.
I have a quick question before we begin. I know there was mention that you don't know what paper is, which is neither here nor there for me. But are you familiar with the technology of ale?
What is ale?
Oh my goodness. I don't know what to do. Actually, I have an idea. So I have in my backpack an alchemy jug, and I'm going to take it out to my backpack. And I'm going to pour out, once a day I can select the liquid that it pours out. And I'm going to select beer, and I'm going to pour it into a cup. I also have a couple of cups in there just in case a scenario like this is to come up. And I say, this, my dear, is beer. You should learn how to make it. And then I present it to her, to Nyota, and see what her impression is.
That same small, calloused hand comes out of the hide cloaks and grasps the cup and just lifts it ever so gently to her lips. Her expression does not change as she sets it back down and says, delicious.
Right? I know! Oh, I'm so glad you've got that now.
Do you have bread or perhaps bagels? No, now Meleokis. It erupts into flames and I put it back. No. My wife, she makes such delicious baked goods. I wish I could share the recipes with you, but I cannot. Oh no, I will starve to death without her.
Nyota will respond. You seem to be from a strange place indeed, with all of these interesting foods. I do not know what bread is, but if you would like to have some tinge, you may have some. And she gestures to Evandra, who goes out, comes back in, just a minute or two. And you see this very flat, bread, almost like naan or pita. But instead of having that brownish, that golden brown color, it instead looks just the slightest bit red. You guys can try it if you want, or not.
I will do so. That was
I'd love to try it, yeah.
quite an exercise of defeating that lizard and then bringing him back. So yes, I'm famished.
I pack it to take home for my wife to try.
Mm-hmm.
So for Skirmish and Grizzlt to end up tasting it, it tastes rather flaky and just a little bit spicy. You're a little surprised to find that out. For those more discerning, the red color is a little bit of a peppery, kind of like a chili flake taste. That's just mixed in very evenly with the flatbread.
This tastes fantastic.
I'm sweating because I'm from the mountains and the cold, and we do not have any peppers at all. And so I'm just kind of searching back for that jug so I can kind of wash this down. I'm like, delicious. Yes, I enjoyed it. But I carefully avoid, diplomatically avoid eating any more of it.
It is quite nice. Yes, there's quite a zing to it, if I do say so. Thank you very much. Now, as far as these intruders, you don't know where we can find them, do you?
I do believe their traces were last spotted near the clearing. It is where many of the creatures come to congregate and pass through in this jungle. Perhaps if you were to return to that place, you can find traces of it. But I have decided to warn our people away from this place, unless the most dire of consequences may come from their absence there. I do not wish to test the qualities of this dust until you might bring us more information about where it is coming from.
Oh, I can get my whistle back, too.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right.
Okie dokie. Are you guys going to head back to the clearing? Is there any other questions you want to ask Nyota?
Oh, I do have one question. So, where are we? When are we? Have you heard of Nikamoy? And how do we get back home? You can answer those in any order you feel like.
You are in the village of Kamoy. I do not know of a Nukamoy, nor of what time you speak of, though we are in the summertime.
That tracks, yeah, okay.
If there are forces that brought you here, there will be forces that bring you back. I have utmost faith. I shall confer
good.
with them.
I merely do know. I can't handle life alone. it's hard to fall asleep alone.
No bread, no ale, no paper. It's quite a bleak world you've got here.
Yes, we will just be visiting.
I understand. The bonding of a partner and the comfort of the familiar, they are what make our lives whole. I would not wish to separate you all from where you have come from.
One last question from me, at least. How is it that you know our language? You seem to be the only one that can speak in the way that we do.
It is a fun trick, as my predecessor would say. We shamans of Kamui are trained to speak with all who live. And while I cannot tell you how that happened, I can tell you that it does.
That's fine. I've seen enough magical nonsense to know that you can just say magical nonsense and I'm good.
I love the pun. I can tell you that it does in your language.
That sounds very nice. I can do that too. It's a very lovely gift.
All right. So back to the clearing?
I say back to the clearing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, no, sorry. It looked like Jade might have a question or something. Nope. Okay, cool. Moving on. So, making your way back to the clearing, I would like all of you to roll a perception check.
Oh, I got to 22.
9?
17?
22. Okay, Skirmish and Jade, it's pretty easy to pick out the golden Eckenblum dust sitting in the clearing. Thankfully, it was rather far away from where you guys had gone and entered and fought the dinosaur. Grizzlt, you don't see it, but you do find your whistle. It was where you'd left it.
Hooray!
Excellent.
That's fantastic.
Funny enough, it doesn't have the FBK logo on it.
Oh, so Skirmish, Jade, I don't know how I haven't noticed this until now, but the Firebreathing Kittens logo is gone off of the whistle. Show it to them. Do you think I blew it off accidentally?
That must be it. Where is it? I keep looking in the clearing for the logo.
Grizzlt is going to absolutely join in because he really... Int was the dump stat.
Can I do a survival check and see what I think is the logo?
Yes, go for it.
I gather that's 4 plus 1 is a 5. What do I pick up and look at?
You see an a very pretty red rock.
I pick it up.
It seems to have been warmed by the sun.
So, I don't know much about magic, but there were a lot of bone tools that were made in my village, and it's not common for something that was carved into bone to just disappear. So I guess this is more magic that, well, something's going on, but I don't know what it is.
I would stand to agree with you. That does seem reasonable. I don't know if I could actually blow a logo off a whistle, so...
You all can roll an Arcana check if you'd like to see if you can figure out what happened.
I'll roll one for fun. Yeah, it's an 11.
Yeah, 9 plus 0.
I got a 5.
So weird. It was there and now it's not. It's like it was never there to begin with. Odd. Oh, well.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
So I'm almost positive that both of you have had a little bit more experience with the Eckenblem than I have. But do you see them anywhere? Or clues? I'm going to look for some clues.
You can roll a separate investigation check if you like. Jade and Skirmish, you guys do see the dust. And it seems to lead away from the village of Kamoy. Skirmish, you actually pick up something else. It's very difficult to see, but the sun hits it just right to where you see dust that looks like diamonds. It's translucent and crystalline, and it leads 90 degrees away. So like if you're in the clearing, right, the village is to 12 o'clock, the Eckenblum dust is towards 6 o'clock, the diamond dust is at 9 o'clock and leading in that direction.
So I share this with my team. I'm like, so as far as clues go, what I'm able to see is that there's the traditional Eckenblum dust going that way, and I point to the 6 o'clock direction. And then, I don't know what this is, but it's different dust. It look, and I pick up a handful because, you know, I've got dust all over me anyway, so it doesn't matter at this point. I pick it up and I say, there's this stuff. I don't know what it is, but it's going that way, and I point in the 9 o'clock direction. So, which way do y'all want to go?
Oh, I had not seen that dust. Wow, it is sparkly like a diamond.
It's very pretty, yes. I don't know.
Gold or diamonds? I guess that's the question.
Well, I guess we could flip a coin if we really wanted to.
Okay.
All right.
I throw Malleus up into the air.
Or a sword.
If it lands point down, then gold dust. And if it lands not point down, it is diamond dust.
Okay, so to be random, I'm going to roll a d20. If it is odd, it's point down. And if it is even, it's point up. And so point down is going to the Eckenblum dust. Point up is going to the diamond dust.
Yeah, or on his side, or yelling at me, complaining that I threw him. Yeah.
I think that's going to happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
As you unsheath Malleus, he's just like, wait a second, what are you doing? What? Goes up, comes back down, and I rolled a 4 on the d20. So Malleus comes back down, and lands hilt up, or the hilt is stuck in the ground, so the blade is up. And it's on fire. He's very angry. What did you do that for?
Sometimes you are sleeping, I want to wake you up.
I never sleep. I'm always awake.
I give him a bagel.
Okay, you are forgetting. Okie dokie. So even was up, which means you guys are headed down the diamond dust trail, correct?
Right.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you follow this trail deeper into the jungle. It can be rather hard to find at times, but given your 22 perception skirmish, you're able to keep an eye on it. It starts to get very dense in the jungle. Tree trunks everywhere, vines hanging down. You hear the sound of animals around you, but you can't see them. Ferns rustle, but nothing is there when you look. The sun starts to get blotted out just because there's so many leaves above you. And the air gets hotter and hotter, more oppressive and humid. I would like all three of you to go ahead and roll either another perception check or a survival check.
I rolled a 9 for survival.
Rolled an 11 for survival.
8 for perception.
So, though you've been able to stay on the track for a while, now with the light gone, it's much harder to see this dust. There's nothing to reflect through it. And unfortunately, deep in this dark forest, you lose the trail, and you are now lost. What would you three like to do, if anything?
Do you mind if we sit down for a second? You know, my knees, they are not what they used to be.
Well, sure. Yes, I think that's okay.
That works for me.
Mm-hmm.
I sit down. What do I sit on?
It would be an upraised tree root.
Okay. And I go, oh, thank you. I feel much better now. So where are we? Are we following this trail very well?
Well, I can't find it anymore. I think we're lost.
What? When did you notice a thing, Skirmish?
Well, so I lost the trail a little while back. However, it looked like you, Jade, and you, Grizzlt, looked like you knew what you were doing, so I just kept following you.
Might I recommend to never follow me? I rarely know, but sometimes I do. I haven't seen these diamonds since we left the clearing, but I do have my whistle still. Does anyone have any way of maybe tracking a certain item? I know some people can, but do either of you?
Well, if the dust is magical at all, I know I could extend my awareness to see if I could find out where it is. So I would like to do that. I will use my magical awareness again.
Perfect. So you do so.
Okay.
You're specifically looking for the dust, correct?
Well, anything magical. So there should be like a faint glow or something like of concentrated magic. It says within 60 feet of me. So if I'm not within 60 feet, I'll wander around until I can find it.
You do indeed sense the dust about 20 feet back behind you guys. Strangely enough, there is a mixture of all of the classes of magic emanating from this dust.
Well, I relay that to my friends and it's like, aha, so I know it's magical, number one, and I know it's 20 feet that way, number two, and most interesting of all is that it's not just one class of magic like most things, it's all of them together.
Well, not only that, Skirmish, you also notice something at the very edge of your periphery, about to your left. Something that is the very same as that dust, but much larger. It is the size of a large creature off to the left.
And I'm not sure how we all missed it, but there is a large creature that has the same magical signature right there, and I'm pointing like directly at it.
You guys can roll a perception check to try and see what Skirmish is pointing at.
All right.
That's a 9.
13.
13. It is rather difficult for you to see, Jade. It just looks like vegetation in the growing dark. But a small ray of light comes in at just the right moment, and you see that it bounces off something. Just a brief flash right in the direction that Skirmish pointed. And it seems to be upon a branch in one of the trees, probably about 50, 60 feet up from the ground.
I point above my head to Grizzlt.
I see. Kind of. Like squinting my eyes. Well, I still don't know what it is, but I can definitely see you're pointing somewhere.
Hey, you're good at talking to everybody. Can you say something and let them know that whoever they are, that we're friends?
I sure can. You said about 60 feet, correct, DM-ish?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I can probably shout. So I'll shout. Hello? 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 I may be good at talking to things, but that doesn't mean I know what to say.
That's a good start.
You hear in your mind, Grizzlt, a soft yet androgynous voice say, hello.
There's definitely something there. Did anybody else hear a hello?
Well, I heard you say it 3 times.
Did you happen to catch a 4th one?
No?
Does it count when you ask the question and use the word?
Okay, how about the 6th time then? No,
No.
I'm gonna go with no.
No.
Okay, so I'll again speak back. May we ask who you are?
You may.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I asked you first.
I suppose that's fair enough. And Skirmish, in your vision, like with your senses still up, you see that this creature floats down to the ground and begins to walk towards you all. And soon enough, you do see, though it's still rather hard to, because this creature seems to be made of diamond. It is the shape of a large dragon. Its wings are folded by its side, and its head is held high and proud. But it's very difficult to actually see the creature because it is near translucent. Much like a diamond, you have to see it at just the right angle to see just how beautiful this dragon is. It steps forward and then speaks in all of your minds, still not aloud. My name is La Ventelthrim, but you can call me Ventel, as I see that you are strangers here. Now you have my name. What is yours?
So, go ahead, Grizzlt.
No, I was going to say, go ahead, please, by all
so
means.
I have no idea that they heard what they heard. So I look at my teammates and say, I just heard something in my mind and I'm going to reply. I don't want you to think I'm crazy. Just ask my name. I'm going to say my name. Hello, thing. Ventel. My name is Skirmish. Nice to meet you.
I think we may have, well, at least I heard that too. I think that this was the voice that gave the other hello. My name is Grizzlt. Hi.
Hello, I am Jade.
Ventel nods their head. It goes rather deeply so that it's almost looking directly down at the ground before they raise their head back up, and they say, "It is a pleasure to meet all of you. It's strange to find others deeply in this jungle. I find most of the time that I am alone. What brings you here?"
Oh, well, so we blew on this flute, and then we killed a reptile, to see how it would taste. And then these people, they talked to my friend, Grizzlt, and they said, go into the forest, go get your flute again. And I think some other reason, I probably do... Oh, that's right. There are these strangers here who are leaving dust everywhere. Could that be you?
Ah, that was rather fast. But I think I have it. Well, I suppose in a way I am a stranger here. Not so strange as the other stranger. I believe, perhaps based on your story, we might be looking for the same thing.
Did it leave any dust on the ground when it flew down or floated down?
Yes, it did.
Would you be willing to subject yourself to a zone of truth?
Strange, I did not expect to find someone who knew that spell here, but yes, I would gladly be in your zone of truth, Jade.
Okay. Zone of truth. I create a magical zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of my choice within range. I also step into the zone. So that means I'm within 30 feet of the dragon. Until the spell ends, a creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the creature can't speak a deliberate lie while within the radius. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw. An affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie, so you can just use the silence route. Such creatures can be evasive in its answers as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth. So please roll a charisma saving throw.
Ventel will choose to fail it.
Okay, I know that. And so I say, Ventel me the truth. Have you been leaving dust in the forest?
Wow. Is nothing sacred from the dad jokes? I'm sorry. I totally just focused on the joke and did not hear the rest of what you said. Can you please repeat that?
Have you been leaving dust in the forest?
Yes, I have. Rather unfortunate.
Is your dust going to mutate the people who touch it?
No.
Oh, do you have dandruff or something?
That's a little insulting.
I can help, I can heal it if you do. If you have dandruff, you tell me, because I can make it go away.
I believe I don't have the biological capabilities to have dandruff.
I look at the ground, I look at the dragon, and I raise one eyebrow. Do you want me to try to heal you?
No, the dust is part of my being. It is the shedding of my scales, which unfortunately never ends.
Okay, well, I get that,
Dry skin and all that. Lotion doesn't solve everything.
If only we had a bottle of vitamin E pills, but we gave away our last one.
Darn it.
If it's eczema, I can cure it. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, you guys, would you like to enter the zone of truth?
I don't see why not. Sure.
I don't
I'll
find
saddle
it
up.
necessary. I'm an honest man, but I'll go ahead. I have nothing to hide.
I withhold my charisma modifier from your charisma saving throws. Normally you would get like a +5 to all your saving throws because, ally, but I'm just like, whoop, block that off for a sec.
Just choose to fail it. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, I'll choose to fail that too.
Okay. Okay, now we are all failing. Can I? I don't know. Anyway, so this allows for a good conversation. Take it away, you guys.
So you're Ventile. You're leaving dust, and then we're also, as you said, maybe searching for another stranger who's leaving dust as well. Have you seen this other stranger? I believe they sort of look like moth people.
So you do know of the Ekenblim.
Oh, and you know their name.
At least in this world. I know of their name in this world.
Well, that's curious.
There is an unsightly intruder in this particular jungle that I am looking for. They are Ekenblim, but unfortunately they also know that I am here. So it's been quite a game of cat and mouse lately.
Are you the cat or the mouse?
Depends on the day.
There is a village a little while from here, and in it there's a prophecy of a stranger that they can talk to. I think that stranger is probably you. I think we just are in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's how we do things, Anyway, so the village may be able to help you with your efforts if we do not succeed with ours. So we will, try our best. But worst case scenario, you should know about the village in case we, die horribly.
Ah, well, that is good to know. I don't believe I would be part of any prophecies, but at the very least, perhaps we can all help each other and in turn help this village. I don't think anybody wants an Ekenblim on their doorstep.
Not with their eczema.
I'll pipe up and I'll say, look, to be honest, I'm in a relationship with a queen of Ekenblim who's beautiful and a vigorous lover. And I was not anticipating that at all.
What?
Vigorous.
Well, sorry, I have to tell the truth, and it's not something I would reveal, but here we are.
True. Full immersion.
So, anyway, she's delightful. She's very nice, and she's got a great sense of humor. But that's not the point. They don't seem all bad. Do you know what they're after?
I don't quite care what they're after. So I'm sorry if I can't answer your question. That's not really part of the information I'm happy for you, I suppose.
Thank you. What is it you're after? What do you want with them?
I just want them dead.
Why?
At this, Ventel remains silent.
Maybe we can reason with this like reasoning with the lizard didn't help much. We might have better luck with an Ekenblim, though.
Maybe.
Reasoning with an Ekenblim is quite an interesting proposition. I don't know if they would take too kindly to my presence, but if you three wanted to go and represent me in a way, I'm sure it might be reasonable, especially if you have connections with a very powerful one.
I do. And you know what? While we're in this zone of truth, I have to say, that bread was a bit spicy and I didn't like it at all. And I feel a lot better having gotten that off my chest because it was eating me up inside. I wanted to be nice and now I feel better. Okay, yes, I'm ready now mentally, emotionally and physically to be your representative to the Ekenblim. Is that good with you guys or am I jumping the gun?
That sounds great to me.
Yes.
Well, this...
Okay. No, go ahead. I was going to say,
No.
Ventrell, do you, are you tracking them, maybe? Or do you know which way we should go?
I have been keeping my eyes on them, as they've been keeping eyes on me. They're actually not too far from... If you simply keep going in that direction, and they point over to your right, actually. Opposite from where you... So if you guys were looking left to talk to Ventel, then they would point straight ahead, which is to your right. If they haven't come out already, they're likely in their little observation. Just look for a difference in the trees, something that looks a little too perfect, and you'll find.
Well, that sounds good to me. Maybe Skirmish, maybe you lead the way?
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Ventel. We'll be back and we'll talk all about it. And, it's really nice to meet someone as beautiful as you. And again, I'm sorry if that's insulting, but I have to just tell the truth in the zone. You're beautiful.
Oh, I know. Thank you.
That's the truth.
Not very modest, but okay. Let's go, gang.
Okay.
All right. So you guys head in the opposite direction. How long does your sense last for, Skirmish?
Not very long. So I think, let me look it back up again. It says until my next turn. So it's probably just like 6 seconds, but I can cast it again just a few more times if I need to, like if we get off the trail.
I was just thinking in terms of like how long it lasted, but that's totally fine.
No,
you
about
can...
6 seconds.
Okay. All right. So you guys continue heading in the direction that Ventel showed you all. And eventually you do get to a part of the forest because you're on the lookout for it that looks a little too perfect. High above you, there seems to be a little bit more light around here as well. You can see looking up, some of the branches are exact copies of one another. It's a little odd, but these are about, again, like about 60 feet up. So you would need to find a way to get up.
I will start climbing the tree.
How good are you at tree climbing? Let's do you can do athletics or acrobatics check.
I will do athletics. I got 29.
That's pretty good. You climb up very speedily, and once you get here, you don't feel anything change as you climb upwards, but Jade and Grizzlt, you can see as soon as Skirmish gets to the identical branches, his head disappears, and then as he keeps climbing, his torso disappears, and then finally his feet.
Skirmish, are you still there?
Oh yeah,
I'll
yeah.
Holler up. Oh,
I'm right here. I'm just climbing.
So, Skirmish, you can hear Grizzlt. Grizzlt, you don't hear anything in response.
Okay, I'm waving. Does he see me waving?
Nope. You are just gone. It's just the tree. It's like you were never there.
Do I see anything different where I'm at?
Yes, you do. I'm going to get back to you, Skirmish, and see what Jade and Grizzlt would like to do.
I know my eyes aren't the best, Jade, but did you see where Skirmish went?
I did not. I wonder perhaps if he has moved into another plane or gone back in time or become invisible. Or maybe he's just really fast.
He's so fast. How is your climbing ability?
I roll a dice, and I have a plus 10 to athletics, so that's a 15.
15? It takes you a little while, but it's enough to get up there. Grizzled, eventually you also see Jade disappear.
Oh, well, now this just isn't funny. I'll call out again to, hello, Jade.
Jade and Skirmish, you can hear Grizzled calling. But where you two are standing right now, it seems to be a rather sterile area. It's just a small room. There's a platform, kind of as though you've climbed up a ladder, and then there's like an entry platform, and then there's a small step that leads into the main. And you can see that there are windows everywhere. It's almost like a panorama, to where you can see everything around you. You can even see Grizzlt down below, and you can hear him perfectly. But for some reason, Grizzlt doesn't see you or hear you.
Hey, Jade, so what's the deal with Grizzlt? Why is he pretending like he can't hear us?
I don't know. I will go down to him, and I would like to think that I clumsily fall, crashing to the floor.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Smush.
No.
I go real fast.
Oh, well, hi. Are you okay? Grizzle's gonna go over and help Jade up. You've disappeared just like Skirmish did. What's up there?
It's a room with lots of windows that appears to be invisible from the outside.
I guess I should be the third one. Let's go back up then. I'm sorry you had to fall.
Oh, it's fine. I probably took a little bit of... Let me just mark this off. Yeah, okay. So
yeah, I was going to say, falling 60 feet, 1d6 per 10 feet, so roll 66 for damage.
Yeah. Can you roll that for me?
Yes, I can. That's right. I should probably do that. That's my job as DM.
I only have 1d6. It would take a long
That's
time.
25 bludgeoning damage from falling.
I'm from 130 to 105, and then I pat myself in my lay on hands pool. Oh gosh, so I have 18 times 5 lay on hands pool.
Wow.
So that's 90. 90 minus 25. I go down to 65 lay on hands pool.
Solid. So Jade literally falls, like, ouch, stands up, brushes herself off. Okay, let's go.
Fantastic. All right. Well, okay. Up we go then.
All right. I'll say because you had help from Jade going up, you both can go ahead and roll another athletics check at advantage to just get you guys back up there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely help out. So I have unarmored movement improvement, so I can move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on my turn without falling at all.
Okay.
So I can just walk up the tree, really. I'll use that to help Jade out.
There we go.
This time I got a natural 20 plus 11. I'm bad at adding proficiency. Level 18, it's 11. So 31.
You also just walk up the tree this time.
It's crazy. It's almost like Grizzle's power is now like manifest in Jade. But it's easy enough to go up. And Skirmish is there waiting for you guys. This room is circular, but there does seem to be a door at the other end of this room. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to open the door, hop through and go, aha! No matter what is on the other side, I'm ready to just surprise them.
As you open the door and go, aha! You surprise a very short Ekenblem. They seem to be standing behind a long metal table. Again, this room is very sterile looking, doesn't have any decorations, whatever, but just a lot of windows. And on the table are a lot of different sheets of paper. This Ekenblem had its back turned towards you, and they turn around and go, how did you find me? Who are you?
Oh, hello, I'm Skirmish Killington. What's your name?
Why should I tell you?
'Cause I just told you my name, because you asked me politely, and so I'm reciprocating by asking you politely, and, you know, convention would have you answer the question so I know who I'm talking to.
Well, I'm a bit of a loner. I don't do convention.
Well, I can assign you a name. I'm
That's
going to
rude.
call... Yeah, Rude. That's what I was thinking. So, Rude, I've got some friends they'd like to meet as well. This is Jade. This is Grizzlt. Jade, Grizzlt, this is Rude.
Oh, hello, Rude.
Hello, I am Jade.
Really, though, how did you guys find this place?
I climbed up a tree.
But how did you know it was this tree?
This tree is very bad at its deception check.
Also, a dragon Ventrell pointed us in this direction and told us to look for some odd trees. And, well, when branches start repeating, it gets a little odd.
As soon as you mention Ventrell's name, the Ekenblem scoots backwards, like onto the table, and papers start flying around. And they say, You're with the dragon?
Oh, we
Are
are
you here
quite
to kill
aware
me?
that the dragon wants to kill you. But you know, I've already killed something very fabulously earlier today, and I'm quite good.
Her bloodlust is satiated. That's what she's trying to tell you.
For now.
So you're not going to kill me?
Well, the day is young. Who knows? Depends how rude you're going to be.
My name is Austin. It's nice to meet you all. See, I'm being very polite. There's no reason for you to kill me.
Okay, nice to meet you, Austin. Again, Skirmish, Jade, Grizzlt.
Are you aware that your wings are dropping a biohazard?
I think biohazard is a point of view. But yes, I am aware that I drop dust.
You have invaded a Class D planet with no protections against your biohazard. This is a failure of the international laws. When you
Jade, go
contact
ahead.
a less advanced society, you're supposed to obey certain precautions.
Roll a deception check, Jade.
That's fantastic.
With advantage.
Whoa. Advantage, good. 22? No, 23.
23.
Wait, no, 22. 22.
22. I mean, that's still pretty good. So, Jade, as you start talking about, interplanetary and otherworldly and things like that, you can see Austin's bug eyes getting bigger and bigger in shock. And he says, I wasn't aware that you were all part of the interplanetary thing. That's some important information. Well, you can let them know that we're not doing anything wrong here. We're simply observing. So let them know that we're fine and we aren't doing anything dangerous at all.
Your dust has invaded an untouched ecosystem. If you truly stayed inside your observation window, it would be one thing. But what are you doing over? And I wave at where there's clearly dust on the ground. We can see out, right? So
Yeah, and you can see there's dust everywhere. It's like this guy has been flying around without any care of where he's been dropping his dust.
So
this
if
is
you'd
the
like,
worst kind of dandruff.
yeah, I was going to say, Austin, my friend Jade here can heal you if this is some kind of medical condition. She can fix this for not just you, but your whole crew.
This isn't something that needs to be fixed. This is part of me. What are you insinuating?
I thought I was quite clear that it needs to be fixed. Did you not hear, Jade, how dangerous this stuff is?
So let me explain, right? Everybody poops, but do you poop on the floor?
Skirmish gets very nervous and starts looking back and forth and steps back.
Continue.
Oh, that's it. You don't poop on the floor.
Oh, okay.
Of course not. No, of course not. No, no, absolutely not.
Never.
Oh my gosh.
Never.
That's unacceptable.
So either you both can roll intimidation checks or one of you can roll at advantage. I'll give you guys the option.
I already failed at intimidating earlier today, so I'll just help Skirmish out.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then I will roll at advantage. I got a 26.
26. Wow, you guys are on a roll. So Austin lifts their body up, trying to stand prouder. And he says, I do not poop on the floor. You're so rude. But I suppose I can admit that I need to work on my dust dispersal. It was my lowest grade. But that's okay. If it's really been that much of a problem with the council, then I suppose I can return and get this fixed before carrying on with my duty.
That's right.
I will
fix your duty.
Oh my god, on a roll, Jade. Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Skirmish will chuckle like he was about to say something, and he goes, yeah, that's right. That's a good one.
Absolutely.
You thoroughly just bullied and embarrassed this young Eckenblim. I hope you guys are happy.
Very.
I'm very entertained. But I'll say, it's not just you though. It's everybody. All you Eckenblim, not to paint with too broad a brush, you need to control your dust.
Well, that's not for anyone else but the councils to decide. So you can always bring up a formal complaint with them if you'd like to. I'm just trying to do my job, and apparently I'm doing that very poorly.
Pardon me, but do you know a lady by the name of Arinel? She happens to be the queen of the Eckenblim, or so she tells me, but this may not take place in this time I'm now suddenly aware of.
You mean the young princess?
That's the... Oh, how young are we talking? I don't want to get gross.
She's probably... Well, I don't know how it is in you life forms years, but newly hatched, I suppose.
Ah, well, let me just say that we're friends, and great. You got a great leader there, but we know each other, so I have some credibility, and she would agree with me. that this needs to be, dealt with appropriately.
Well, go ahead and roll a persuasion check. The DC's real low because you guys have been succeeding a lot already.
I got 12.
At 12. Good thing that DC's real low.
Thank goodness.
You did just barely, get over it, though, I will say. The DC was set at 10. Austin goes, I didn't even realize that the princess had friends outside of the realm, but, I mean, I'm not privy to any of that, so I'll say hi to her for you, I suppose, if I ever get to see her. Her mother and father are pretty protective. That's okay. If you don't need to tell her or her parents about any of this, I'm gonna go and get my dust checked. Clearly, I need something tweaked in the body. So you don't gotta worry about it. You don't gotta tell anybody that I was out here and spraying a bit more than I should have.
Okay, one question. Then tell person, once you're dead, do you know why?
Probably because I'm Ekenblim. That's just, look, you guys are pretty scary. You aren't going to go and talk to them again after you've seen me, right?
Well, we kind of promised that we would, at least tell Ventrell that we were looking for you, so I think that'd be very dishonest of us. We were in a zone of truth, too, so we had to mean it.
Listen, take my advice. Don't tell them anything, and don't get close to them. They're up to no good. They're only looking out for themselves. They don't care who I am or that I've got a family. They just want me dead because I'm Ekenblim, and that's not cool. So talk to them or whatever, but they're vicious. They're bloodthirsty. They just want me dead because of who I am.
Well, you were a bit rude when we first met, so
that's
you
not
should
grounds
work on...
It's not grounds to kill someone.
I agree, but I'm just saying, take some time to reflect on the message you're putting out into the world. People will respond accordingly. If you're ultra rude, they may try to kill you. This is a very vicious world.
Well, I'll keep that in consideration.
Also, maybe tell us what you're doing here. And maybe some information might tip Ventrell towards the not wanting to kill you mood.
You know, that's... Well, that's the sort of thing that is not something you guys need to know, if you get my drift.
Is it something that you maybe value your life enough to share?
No. I will die before I tell you anything about why I'm here.
That might be out of our hands, so I can't say that I would...
So, are any of you good at reading papers quickly? I do notice there's quite a few papers around.
I am not. Let me check. I'm pretty sure... No, nothing in particular about that, unfortunately.
You guys can go ahead and try and roll a perception check if you want to get a quick glance of the papers on the table.
Oh, I'll take a quick roll. Why not?
So I have a question. I rolled an 8 for perception, but my passive perception is 15.
Okay.
So,
your passive would take precedence then.
Okay.
What about you,
So,
Grizzlt?
I also have a 15 passive, but I just rolled a 19 on a perception check.
All right. So both of you would notice that these papers are, they have notes about climate, about, what are they called? Like biospheres, environments and things like that. It seems pretty sterile stuff, like very scientific in a way where it's just like, these are facts and observations. Grizzlt, you in particular notice that there are also papers, and these are a little bit more hidden, that speak about the populace. And they note where population centers are, and specifically like distances between. You also happen to catch sight of a number, and that number is 7,500.
So, while Austin is talking to Skirmish and I'm kind of getting a glance around at all of this, I Grizzlt will chime in a bit and saying, so, I, not too long ago, actually, took a little trip to maybe a headquarters of the Ekemblem, and I can't help but notice we found a room that had a desk similar to this with a lot of information about a certain world, and the one kind of watching this or looking through this information was basically gathering it to plan a takeover. And this is looking oddly similar to that information. You're not planning on taking over this world, are you, Austin? Because that would be quite rude.
Austin bolts for the door.
I was going to give him a hard stare.
Yeah.
Once Grizzlt was saying that. However, if he makes a bolt, I will pounce on him.
Go for
Absolutely.
it. Yeah. Are you trying to grapple him, I guess?
Yes, I will try to jump on him and pin him to the floor.
So, first roll a dexterity check to see if you can grab him in time as he runs, and he will...
I got a 13.
That's still higher than what Austin rolled. So you're able to grab him, and then we'll do a contested strength check for the...
29.
A 2. It's so funny because like my die was like on 20 and I'm like, oh my God. And then it went straight to 2. You read him like an open book, like those papers on the table. And as soon as he bolts, you grab him and pin him down very easily. He is pretty small. He's probably like halfling size. So closer to Grizzled size.
Yeah.
So once I'm on top of him, I put a knee in his back, and then I pick up one hand and I wave a finger reprovingly, and I say, where do you think you're going? Why don't you answer the man's question?
You're gonna have to kill me. I'm not telling anything.
Now, what if we just took him to see Ventrell?
That sounds like a great idea.
I think that might be good. I mean, that way, technically, we're not killing him.
No, I wouldn't want that on my conscience.
Nah, definitely not.
Austin is visibly shaking but remains silent.
I'm telling you, Austin, you have quite the opportunity to maybe not see the dragon if you just share a little bit of information with us.
I will let you guys know as the DM, he's not going to tell you guys anything. Like, if he's under this much duress already, he's not going to say anything else more. So you guys can decide what you like to do with.
Completely fair.
I think, noting that he's really persistent in not saying anything, given the question that Grizzlt asked, I would say, oh, I understand. You are planning a takeover. This is all about invasion prep. You didn't have to say anything. Your body language says it all. And so now we are convinced you were invading, and thank you for communicating that so clearly, I say.
Austin just kind of deflates under your grip, defeated.
Well, you certainly can't say we didn't give you a chance, so I think that we need to return to our dragon friend.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
If we could find out more about these observation posts, I'm assuming this is not the only one. I would like to destroy any record of any data or facts that would help them in this plan. So what I will do is I drank a bottle of fizzy bitters in a previous adventure. And what that allows me to do is I can burp at will and cast gust. And so I'm going to burp at all the papers on the table toward the door. And I'm going to push all the papers outside. Whoosh. They're all gone.
Oh. Austin just lets out an audible, I'm so dead.
Probably.
You guys win. Whatever you want to do, just do it already. End me. It'll be better than what the queen has in store for me after this failure.
No, you tell them exactly what you saw here and what kind of place Guasso is.
Yeah, we'll let you live just to communicate our message.
Oh.
And here, I will give you a souvenir.
Oh, dear.
Non-lethal flaming blade attack.
There is an enormous scar that goes from head to toe of Austin, just all across their left side. And it immediately cauterizes because it's a flaming sword.
Cosmetic damage. That's how you really hurt
Yep.
Ekenblim. Now you're not pretty.
Yep, exactly. And they scream in so much pain and just disappointment. Like their life is over. But
I'm
that's not
starting
really
to feel really bad.
They failed
I know
their
he's the
job.
enemy, but
Sorry. Now they're
it's
not
okay.
pretty.
And don't come back instead.
So, Austin, do you keep Austin on the ground, Skirmish?
I'll go ahead and get up because just there's a growing sense of pity that I have for him.
Yeah. Austin will go shoulders slumped over to a part of the room that's free, takes some dust from their wings, sprinkles it in a circle, sings the saddest note you've ever heard, and disappears.
Do you want to follow him?
I think I've been where he's going, and we don't want to go there right now.
Okay. So what do we do at this place? Or what do we tell Ventrell?
Oh, I know what we do with this place. And then I say, I get out some cream cheese and a bagel and I feed it to my sword. And the sword like slurps up the cream cheese and lights on fire. and I have searing smite, just kind of racially. And that means that what I hit with my sword catches on fire. It's part of the spell.
Perfect.
And I go over to the table. And I raise the flaming sword above my head. And if you guys want to leave, you can. But I'm going to have some fun here.
That's fine. Well, while you do that, before she destroys everything, I'm going to see if there's any kind of map or something that would indicate different places where these observation booths may be.
Well, now that the table is primarily clear, you can see that there's actually a map like printed onto the table itself. And you can see X's. The continent looks somewhat different than what you're familiar with. There seems to be more land on the coasts. And, but there are X's marked near where you recognize Nikomoy would be, where Jishop would be, Metdefov, Jezek, Albion, all of these places. There are X's all over this map, primarily in the outskirts of urban areas.
I make a note mentally.
Maybe we should copy this down for Ventrell, maybe, since they may seem like they're hanging around here. Although, try to kill them.
If they are not here because they've evacuated, then they cannot die from Ventrell. Let's give it a week and then we give it to Ventrell.
That's true. This could be a vacation.
Oh.
It does seem nice,
I've
right?
not-
You can go ahead.
Not been to a jungle before, so this is a little warm, but enjoyable.
Think of all the ale and beer you could introduce them to.
You're right. Oh, this is... Now I have a task.
Perfect. So, Jade, you raise Mighty Maliokus, who just says, "Oh, yeah, that's the stuff. Let's do this."
He would.
I listened to that Sword and Granny episode.
These are all Maliokus quotes.
And your sword erupts in flame so hot that Grizzlt and Skirmish need to step back. But you take it just fine, Jade. And you slash across the table. It melts the metal table and the map like butter. Woo! And flame, even though this place looks metallic, flame starts to spread.
I take it all in, and I'm very impressed, and I remind myself to give Jade a high five later, because this is awesome.
It's definitely a spectacle, let me tell you.
Is there anything else you'd like to do in this room, Jade, before you guys go and evacuate?
Nope.
Okay. You guys safely evacuate the tree, and when you step back out onto the ground, you can see smoke rising, but the illusion is still there, so it just looks like a random pillar of smoke coming out of a tree. But as you get down, Ventrell is there waiting for you. And they say, interesting choice of negotiations.
You had to be there.
Is the problem dealt with?
Yes, let's go party. I have a village to introduce you to. And then a week from now, I will also give them the locations.
Perfect. So you all go back to the village. Everyone is very happy, but Nyota especially, seeing as how she wanted only information and you guys have taken care of the entire problem. After introducing Ventrell, there is definitely a reverence there from these people. And Ventrell seems to enjoy the attention and seems to be particularly interested in Nyota. They have a lot of conversations throughout the week. Skirmish, I imagine you'd want to teach them ale, how to make ale.
Well, I'm not too keen on how to make it, but I kind of stumble through. It has something to do with this, and then you put that in this, and there's some boiling, and I think they're taking a lot of notes, and they eventually piece it together through my rambling.
Perfect. They have like their very own special kind of ale now, and they add a little bit more of that like pepper that was in the bread, so it's a little spicy.
I frown in disapproval, but only to myself. Like, I don't show them that I'm unhappy. I'm like, oh, that's what they're going to do, huh? Oh, all right. That's a choice.
Grizzled, what would you like to do in your week-long vacation in the jungle with the Kamui people?
Grizzlt is just going to enjoy being translator when necessary, but just honestly relaxing. This is a great time to really see a new land, so probably go for a lot of walks, and of course help himself to wandering every hut he can. And seeing things, just learning all about this new time. It's fantastic.
You see a lot of different like pottery, some wooden figurines, some bone carved figurines and things like that. You can pick up a couple if you'd like to.
Oh, I'd love to. I think that'd be a great souvenir. You have to come back from a vacation with a souvenir of some kind. One or two of those small pots is absolutely coming with Grizzled.
Perfect. And Jade, what would you like to do?
Retirement. I would like a little umbrella over me as I snooze in the sun.
Someone is able to whip together a hide and umbrella for you. They just like have this broad leaf and hide on a stick, plant it behind you. and they put you up on a hill close by that like overlooks the tree and you can see the coast in the distance.
Oh.
Did you happen to pack any of Alice's wine?
I have a week's worth of rations, so I have something. I'm going to say yes on the wine.
Perfect.
Canonically,
It's definitely
yes.
part of the rations.
Yeah.
Perfect. What a pairing. So by the time the week has gone by, there is a large gathering in the village of Kamui, and you can see that they're ushering everybody down to the coast, and Nyota goes up and asks, will you please accompany us for the Protector's ritual?
All right, sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have one thing to give Ventel. You open this in 2 days, okay?
All right. I love a surprise. So you guys go to the coast and you can see that there's actually an entire ring of wooden tree trunks set up. The trunks are cut at different heights, and they're all buried in the ground. And the surf is about maybe 50 or 60 feet away. You can hear it, but it doesn't disturb the area where you're at. You can see everybody in the village is surrounding these posts on the outside as though creating an outer circle for the post's inner circle. And Nyota brings you three into the circle of posts with her. She gestures for you to sit down and then sits down herself. And she holds out a bone flute. And on the side of it, you can see the logo of the Firebreathing Kittens carved in. She holds it out and says, you are indeed protectors of our land, and your emblem shall always be engraved on our hearts and in our mind. You are our protectors, and let us be bound in this sacred promise of the fire-breathing kittens protecting Kamui and her descendants. and she lifts the bone whistle up to her mouth and blows in ever so gently, and you hear that soft note again. And suddenly you all begin to feel pulled back, much like you were at the beginning of this adventure. But instead of blackness and stars filling your vision, it's instead white with black flecks, almost like the colors were inverted. And suddenly, you're back. Sterling is there with his sending stone in the office, and he's saying, "Take it away, fire-breathing kittens." What, you guys are just standing there? You don't know how a stream works?
Honestly, no. I don't know how a stream works at all.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either, but what how much time has passed?
I look to the audience or the sending stone and I say, "Hello, I am Jade."
Sterling looks at you, Grizzlt, and is like, what are you talking about? You've just been standing there.
Oh, that reminds me. Hey, Jade, I forgot to give you a high five from about a week ago. And then I lift my hand as if to give her a high five. That was awesome what you did in that office, that observation place.
Oh, thank you. And I give you a high five, I guess. Are we done yet?
And that's our episode. Thank you guys so much for playing. Today, we were joined by Skirmish.
Well, thank you very much. That was the great vacation.
Grizzlt.
And now I have some new pots. It's fantastic.
And Jade.
Alice, I'm I brought you a chili flatbread.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, what is holding you back from achieving your fitness and nutrition goals and living your best life? Is it time, money, energy, pain, confidence, knowledge, or anything like that? Join me on the Power of Progress podcast, where we take a deep dive into your mindset and figure out why you may be struggling to achieve results. Then give you actionable steps that you can take to build momentum and have success and become the master of your own health.
Well, he's not a doctor or a therapist, but he'll give you good advice and some helpful tips. His name's Sam Mitchell, and he owns his song, and he'd love for you to join him as he goes along. Autism rocks and rolls.
I have a question for y'all. So what do you think of the word when you think of the word autistic? Broken, dumb, creative, eccentric, fun, weird, annoying? To me, autism rocks and rolls, and ironically, that is the name of my podcast. I am autistic, and my name is Sam Mitchell. I am not ashamed of who I am to every day. And I struggle, yes, every day. Every day is a bit of a challenge for me. But come on a journey with me. I will help you understand autism as I shift the puzzle pieces one step at a time. I started my podcast to remove the stigma off of autism. Listen, I am not broken. I'm a functioning member of society, with autism or not. I am determined to be successful. Let's unite, come together, and understand the challenges and beauty of the brain wiring called autism. Listen to my podcast and see what you think. I hope it inspires you to help you understand the others with autism. Listen to it on your platform of choice. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, and also, don't forget to keep on rocking and rolling, you all.